All hail Kenny Ortega. All hail Kenny Ortega. All hail Kenny Ortega. All hail Kenny Ortega.
All hail Kenny Ortega. All hail Kenny Ortega. We like your movies.
Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
And today...
Oh my god, guys.
Today...
we are watching...
the big one.
The big one. High School Musical.
High School Musical. We haven't really fully talked to this completely through. Out of every single Disney Channel original movie, I think this is the one that has the most cultural impact.
100%.
There's so much that's
100%.
Like, this is the one out of everything that has broken out and become its own thing.
And, like, it popularized musicals again.
Yes.
Like, it really did.
There's so much we can talk about this from a non-just plot perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much we can talk about this, about it being a movie as well. It's a big loaded plot where there's so many to think about. Each actor has done so much.
Yeah.
It was a whole... I think the term cultural reset gets thrown around too often. This is arguably a legitimate cultural reset.
It really was. Especially, too, everyone talks about, like, the premiere of High School Musical 2, which we can talk about that when we cover High School Musical 2. But, yeah, like, the High School Musical franchise is a cultural reset. Like,
yes.
And there was a couple things before. Like, Cheetah Girls kind of was dipping its toe into this phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, High School Musical took off.
And yeah, there's so much effects on just media culture that you can still feel today. I mean, even if you just think about the first popular Disney Plus TV show was a High School Musical show.
High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Which we do not need to talk about much here, especially because that's really...
It's important to note that it exists.
Yes. There's so much aspects where the rise and fall of musicals in like the 2010s and the late 2000s, and then the whole cyclical nature of it. There's so much dependent on High School Musical. You can call me crazy for this. I don't think Hamilton is as big of a moment if it isn't for High School Musical.
Probably not. I mean, Hamilton's funny because, like, it first came out and it was popular, but then it was released on Disney Plus and it became popular again.
Yeah.
But you can kind of say the same thing about, like, High School Musical. Like, it was released, it was popular, the sequels came out, and now there's a spin-off show that just finished. Like, it had 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot to say about High School Musical.
Yes.
We're going to cover a lot of bases.
We specifically were like, we cannot have a guest on the High School Musical episodes because we just have too much to say. Even though, like, this is the biggest DCOM franchise for sure.
We told guests you can pick any movie you want other than High School Musical.
Like, we're reserving it for just us.
Yes.
Especially High School Musical 2. Boy, do we have a lot to say.
We have a lot to say about High School Musical 2, but that's for High School Musical 2.
Yeah.
I want to say this right here, right now. We're going to get into the factos.
Right here. So it's High School Musical 3.
Yeah. We're going to get into a lot about the factos.
Yeah.
That's a section that we do where we talk about all the director and all the cast members and what other stuff they do. Because of what High School Musical is, this is going to be longer than normal. If that's something that you don't care about, you can always just skip ahead. We do not take any offense. We don't even look at the viewership data for things like that.
No.
So feel free. We don't know when that's going to exactly be because when I'm recording this, we don't have the final cut. We don't know how long we're going to talk.
Just skip ahead and you'll be like, oh, I think they're talking about the movie now.
Yeah, but just giving a fair warning about that. We're going to talk a bit about each of the people because there's a lot of interesting stories in all of this. So, let's get into the factos.
DCOM Duo Factos.
So, this released January 20th, 2006. It was the 61st Disney Channel original movie.
That's so fun that it came out at the same time like the movie takes place.
Mm-hmm. It's probably intentional.
Yeah. I was 7 years old. Oh my God, I loved this movie so much as a kid. I watched it over and over. It's got to be the DCOM I've seen the most, just by how much I watched it as
I
a
would
kid.
assume it's the same for me.
It has to be.
More than any other one, we're going to be nostalgia biased for this movie. Oh, yeah. We've talked about other big DCOMs in the past that were cultural moments and everything. But this is one that impacted both of our lives individually.
Mm-hmm.
And like, well, Camp Rock was big and Halloween Town was and remains big.
I didn't like those as much as I liked High School Musical.
High School Musical was the one that hit for us.
Yeah, for
That's why we're
sure.
together.
It hit for everybody. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, it is widely celebrated to this day.
Because it's freaking good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. You can't tell me that it's not.
I'm not going to tell you that it's not.
I'm talking about to anyone. Nobody can tell me this is a bad movie. It's a great movie. Like, genuinely.
So, our director of this film is Kenny Ortega. Before we get into this, Kelsey found a good argument online on TikTok or something where someone argued that Kenny Ortega was the director of our generation.
Yeah, one girl was like, who's like the director of our time? Like the greatest director of our time, whatever. And the girl's like, Kenny Ortega. She's like, you're so right. That's like the perfect answer.
It's something that I want to bring up here because Kenny Ortega is so, I'm going to say underrated, underappreciated, because while people may know him as the High School Musical guy, he's done so much other stuff as well that really has a high level of quality to it, a high level of like belovedness, and doesn't get his flowers as often as he probably should. So Kenny Ortega is a director, but he also primarily, I would say, is a choreographer, which is why he works a lot in musicals and stuff like that.
I feel like too, I hope he's not canceled. I don't think he is. It seems like from all the behind the scenes stuff, he's just like such a cool guy. He's just a cool guy.
So he was the choreographer and director for High School Musical 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to bring this up now. Probably forget to mention it later, but like it's important to say. Technically, High School Musical 3 is not a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah.
Like, definitively it is not. It released in theaters because of how big the first two High School Musicals
That's the thing is like no other DCOM franchise made it to theaters except for
notably High School or Hannah Montana also did, but like it's
not a DCOM, that's a show. Not a DCOM. Same with like Lizzie McGuire. I'm assuming that was in theaters. I guess I don't know.
I don't know, but it wasn't also, a DCOM. It is not a DCOM.
I'm assuming that was in theaters. I'm talking about movies.
Yes.
Disney Channel original movies that started as a movie on Disney Channel. The third one released in theaters. Like, how crazy is that? Not even Descendants did that.
Yeah.
And Descendants was big.
He was the choreographer director for Cheetah Girls 2.
Did that come out after High School Musical?
Yes.
So
Cheetah
they're
Girls
like
1 came out
before.
Then, yes, I believe. And then Descendants 1, 2, and 3.
And I know for Descendants 3,
I think they have a
there's another choreographer.
Which we'll talk about that when we get to Descendants 3, but that's probably 3 years later.
So long from now, probably.
Which is sad, but we'll get there. Yeah. We get to talk about High School Musical today. We're not going to be complaining. Yeah. Our prayers were answered. He was also the choreographer and director of Newsies.
Like the movie?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
The movie version of Newsies. Hocus Pocus.
Fun.
And Michael Jackson's This Is It. He actually was a choreographer director or both of a lot of concerts as well. That was a big thing that he did. Explicitly a lot of Michael Jackson tours and Gloria Estefan tours. Like, he was working directly with Michael Jackson on his choreography, which, if you know about Michael Jackson, is very important to Michael Jackson's whole brand. Also worked with Cher and Hannah Montana / Miley Cyrus when that was all going on. And then other films that he choreographed, because again, he's primarily that. St. Elmo's Fire, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Dirty Dancing.
I love Dirty Dancing.
Those last two have very big, like, dance sequences that are well loved and remembered. So I just think that's interesting. And he also did several huge events like Super Bowl, the Oscars, and multiple different Olympic Games, where he was the choreographer for it. He's just like one of the best choreographers of our time.
He is a good choreographer.
The dancing
he really
is great.
Especially High School Musical 2, he freaking shines. Like, and High School Musical 1 has good choreography too. Oh my God. We're not talking about High School Musical 2 right now, but I just got it. Like, it's so good. It's so fun.
Yeah. So basically, Kenny Ortega really defined our generation with what all this stuff is going on in terms of what he's directed. Side note, just a random fact, he was so close with Michael Jackson during his tour and everything. He was the first witness in his trial for seeing if the doctor gave him a lethal dose of medicine.
Oh my god.
There was that whole thing. He was the first witness of that case.
Wow.
So that whole aspect was close. But yeah, Kenny Ortega needs his flowers, and he gets them in a lot of ways, but probably deserves more. He does more than people realize, and really has made some standing the test of time films, and has worked on a lot of projects.
He also, I don't know how important this is to mention, he did Julie and the Phantoms.
Yes, I didn't mention that because honestly, I felt like I mentioned a lot with him, but yeah.
There's rumors. There's rumors that there's going to be a season 2.
I thought it was done.
I've never watched it, but I know it'd be right up my alley, and I probably will watch it one day. But that's another musical show.
Yeah. So Kenny Ortega really has left his mark on film.
Yeah.
I would say children's media particularly, but just in film in general. The amount of people you still see doing the Dirty Dancing lift.
Freaking love Dirty Dancing.
Think about that. It's just insane. Going into the cast.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Roll a good amount for each of these people, and there's more that I could write because in terms of children casts, this is probably the most stacked. And they all other than the sequels to this film where they just add more people, which
yeah, I mean Descendants was kind of stacked, but
this is more stacked than Descendants.
Yeah. And it's crazy that this movie started all of their careers.
Yeah, there was one of them I would say was pre-established, maybe two. We'll get there.
Okay.
But yeah, start off with our main man, the main character of this. I would say this movie is his movie. Troy 100%. Bolton.
Troy Bolton.
Played by Zac Efron.
Troy Bolton, I feel pretty comfortable saying, pretty definitively saying that this was my first crush, celebrity crush. Mm-hmm. Who was your childhood crush? Mine was Troy Bolton / Zac Efron. Yeah. He's amazing.
He really got his start with High School Musical, which is kind of crazy for how big he's been after it. But then again, we shouldn't judge this like other DCOMs as a small project that goes on the bottom of your resume. This was a big cultural moment. So High School Musical start. By the way, every person that I'm going to be mentioning here, other than Drew Seeley, who we'll get to,
we'll get there.
Is in every High School Musical. Yeah. All three of them. Yeah. So I'm not even going to mention that.
The main 6. And then also Kelsey.
And the 2 adults that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all in all 3.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, they kept it all together. And I think High School Musical 3, there was people did not want to keep doing it anymore. Especially the main 2.
Hey, Chuck.
So Zac Efron, after High School Musical, really got going, did Hairspray, did 17 again, and he immediately just became Teen Idol.
I love both of those movies, yeah.
After that, he did New Year's Eve, The Lorax, Neighbors 1 and Neighbors 2, Birdie Grandpa, Baywatch.
Mm-hmm.
These are just big stuff that he's a part of. He was in Disaster Artist. He was in Greatest Showman.
His return to musicals is Greatest Showman. Yeah. It was incredible to see him do something musical again.
He really stepped off after Hairspray.
And he took that role from Jeremy Jordan. Jeremy Jordan was originally going to be in Greatest Showman, and Zac Efron swooped in.
Well, Zac Efron probably did it better. Let's be real.
Hey, don't hate Jeremy Jordan like that. I do love Zac Efron, though.
He was in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. That's where he played Ted Bundy.
He was Ted Bundy. He did pretty good in that, yeah.
And then most recently, he was in The Iron Claw. I'm going to let you talk about The Iron Claw for a bit, because that may have been your favorite movie of the year.
It was up there. It was definitely the movie I felt was the biggest snub of the Oscars. Mm-hmm. Where I'm how did this movie get nothing? It's really good. It also has Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, and it if you want a movie that will just devastate you, Go watch The Iron Claw. I don't know if I've ever cried as hard as I did in that theater. And when the movie ended, all I wanted to do was sit and cry more.
It's
Like,
it's really
so
sad,
good.
but it's really well done.
It's really well done. And
Yeah.
I'm really sad that nothing came of it at the Oscars. It's not going to get any kind of award. Zac Efron did really good.
He got legitimate Best Actor like consideration hype for a while on that. There was absolutely a universe where he's nominated for that. Probably not one where he wins, but one where it could come close. And if it was a weaker year where there wasn't, say, Oppenheimer dominating everything, he could easily have won Best Actor for that performance.
Yeah.
But kind of showed off he is legitimately now a good dramatic actor.
Yeah.
He also looks different now.
He does. He dabbled in his serious roles, kind of that like breaking out of High School Musical post 17. And he was in Charlie St. Cloud and what was the other one, like The Lucky One or something like that, where it's like dramatic romantic movie.
So all of this to say, I was thinking through this myself. Out of people who were in Disney Channel original movies, so not just a generic Disney star, Zac Efron is not only guaranteed by far the biggest male star they have. I think only Selena Gomez trumps him. No, Miley Cyrus, who I think would have at least be an argument, wasn't in a DCOM. She wasn't.
That's true. She was not in a DCOM.
So
she was only on Disney Channel.
I think the next highest would be Demi Lovato, and I think Zac Efron's bigger than Demi.
That's probably true, at least in acting.
It's hard to consider like acting versus
music. It's hard.
Zac Efron did not go for a music career.
No.
It's interesting because basically everyone else on the cast did.
Yeah, he purely went for acting and sometimes in a musical role, but mainly not. Mm-hmm. I think he was really trying to break out of the High School Musical.
He did not want to get that on him as a brand.
Same with like Vanessa Hudgens. They really just tried to break out of it, which it sucks because like Zac Efron never showed up to any kind of reunion for High School Musical. I feel like he never talks about it. Like, it's really sad that it seems like he's kind of ashamed of it. This is all speculation, but like he really doesn't talk about it. And like watching some of the behind the scenes stuff for like the first two movies at least, you can't tell me you weren't having the fucking time of your life, my guy. Like, it looked so much fun on that set. Mm-hmm. And like doing the choreography and everything. Like, it's like my dream as a kid. Like, seems so cool, and it sucks that he's really just trying to erase it from his past. He's like, nah, it's a musical. Nah, I'm too cool for that.
All right, gonna move on now to Troy Bolton, but the singing voice was Drew Seeley.
I love this. Like, it's not even a scandal, but I like to pretend that it's a scandal of like Drew Seeley being snubbed and like being the singing voice.
Singing voice of one of the biggest things and does not get any of the credit.
He's in like singing in multiple DCOMs and never shows his face except for one small scene in Stuck in the Suburbs where he was like the hotel clerk.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Poor Drew Seeley. He finally got a movie in Another Cinderella Story. Mm-hmm. I know I'm kind of taking your factos, but he was in Another Cinderella Story with Selena Gomez, which is not a DCOM. It kind of feels like a DCOM, but it's not. Like,
it was like a direct-to-video movie.
Anyone who's into DCOMs, like, you have to know about this Drew Seeley stuff. Yeah. It's just, you have to.
So he only did the singing in High School Musical 1, where he sang all of Troy's stuff except for, I believe, 4 lines, 1 in Start Something New, and like 3 in Breaking Free.
So wait, he sings most of Breaking Free?
Yes.
I feel like that's the one where it sounds more like Zac Efron. Did Zac Efron sing like the beginning or something?
I believe so. Zac Efron, I think, sang the first 3 lines and maybe 1 extra line. I read it at one point.
I could not believe that, like, as a kid, they bamboozled me so hard.
As an adult, it looks obvious to me.
I know, as an adult,
also just because I know what Zac Efron sounds like.
That's the thing, is like, as an adult now, listening to Get Your Head in the Game, I cannot listen to it anymore because it makes me so mad that I'm like, that is not Zac Efron singing.
Yeah.
When you're listening to it without the visual, it's like, that sounds nothing like Zac Efron. Why would they bamboozle me? And I was reading once about like why did this happen, or maybe I was watching something, and it's because they really wanted Troy to be a tenor.
Yes,
which is a higher
I think they'd already had
singer.
like a lot of the music already written as a tenor.
It has a tenor
And
part, and Zac Efron is not a tenor, and but I guess they liked his acting better, or maybe his look better.
I think they thought this is the guy we want to look. His acting skills are good. We're gonna go with him.
But we're gonna keep Drew
make it work.
Seeley. We're gonna keep Drew Seeley as the singer for most of it, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why on Spotify or maybe Apple Music, like whatever you use to stream these songs, it doesn't credit Zac Efron or Drew Seeley. It credits Troy and like Gabriella, Sharpay, and Ryan. And I think they just didn't want to confuse kids when they started releasing this music of like, what do you mean, Drew Seeley? That's Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this is Troy. This is Troy Bolton singing.
So Drew Seeley did do the concert tour because Zac Efron was busy filming.
The kids like, who's that?
That's what I got to imagine. It's got to be funny.
Wait, sounds like Troy.
Yeah. He did a lot of other singing for Disney Channel, as you alluded to. He was in Cheetah Girls 2.
Yeah, he had a song.
He also had a song in Jump In. I don't remember that, but that's what I found.
We covered that.
Yeah.
Did we? We probably might have talked about it.
We may have talked about it. I do not remember. That was a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I already mentioned you mentioned another Cinderella story, which is probably his biggest role.
Starstruck?
Oh yeah, he did, according to like one of the articles. I don't know if I fully trust it.
What song did he do in Starstruck? I know it wasn't
Sterling Knight did,
but it was someone else. It wasn't Drew Seeley singing for Sterling Knight. I would have freaked out if it was.
That's why I don't think that's fully right. But I put it on here because I found a source saying that he sang in Starstruck for like at least one of the songs.
Okay.
I just went, sure. I don't fully trust that, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he hasn't been in very many TV movie productions. He was like some minor roles on One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek, Stuck in the Suburbs, which we already talked about, on the Sweet Life show. But not stuff. Again, he's much more of a singer than an actor, but for the Disney Channel, which is interesting. He had stage roles in The Little Mermaid and Jersey Boys. That's probably more where he got to perform and actually had everything. But he never really got his big break other than another Cinderella story, which
it's pretty mind-boggling because he is a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And like in another Cinderella story, he did a good job.
I don't know why he didn't get a real break.
It's really sad.
But that's how it is sometimes. All right. From here on out, we're actually talking about the people who sang and acted.
Yeah.
Playing the role of Gabriella Montez is Vanessa Hudgens, or Vanessa Ann Hudgens, as she was credited at this time.
Yep.
So she also got a bunch of big roles after her High School Musical career. She was in Beastly.
Yes.
In, Journey 2.
With Josh Hutcherson. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was in Second Act, Bad Boys for Life, and in Tick, Tick, Boom.
I love Tick,
Tick, Tick, Boom being a return to musicals.
Yes, Vanessa Hudgens back singing again.
They all come crawling back.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had a pretty successful music career. Everything that she did on High School Musical probably did better charting position wise, but she had like a legit music career for a bit.
Yeah. The only one I remember is she did a cover of Baby Come Back, which would play on Disney Channel sometimes.
But yeah, her music was actually a lot more adult in general.
Yeah, she was trying to break out of the High School Musical like good girl image.
Yeah,
she really was, and that's why like in Beastly, which was I think like her first role outside of High School Musical, one of them, she like lowered her voice. She's talking kind of in a lower register. She's like, I'm not that innocent little girl anymore.
So Vanessa Hudgens basically she was trying to break out of the Disney cycle. With how big High School Musical was, I remember just people saying they got to get out. Like, you got to capitalize on your stardom without being caught in the Disney bubble. To very success. And I would say Vanessa Hudgens really felt like she was looking for like a purpose or like a role to fit in where it made sense for her to like land. And she finally has found it as the Netflix princess.
Netflix Christmas Princess.
Yeah, she's Princess Switch Girl.
Yeah, which Princess Switch is Christmas movies.
Yes,
Don't
and also
forget.
Night Before Christmas.
Princess Switch, there are 3 of them. Where in the first one, Vanessa Hudgens meets Vanessa Hudgens, and they look alike, and one of them's a princess, and they switch places. And then in the second Princess Switch, there's a third Vanessa Hudgens that also like switches places. And then there's also a third one where it's still just the 3 Vanessa Hudgens, I think. I have watched all of them. And then she was also in Night Before Christmas, where a knight comes in a modern day and she like falls in love with him, and it's also Christmas time. You gotta love these like Christmas Netflix movies. I also love Christmas Prince. And Christmas Prince and Princess Switch cross over.
Mhm.
They like reference each other, and then in the third one, like the characters from Christmas Prince show up in Princess Switch, which makes no sense because they watched the movie in Princess Switch. It's incredible. I feel like Vanessa was like, I give up trying to be serious. I'm gonna be in these Netflix Christmas movies.
So, yeah, I don't have any takes on the Netflix Vanessa Hudgens burn. I just let you watch all those by yourselves.
Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens started on stage, like that's where she got her start in her career, and she's gone back a bit recently. She also did Grease Live and Rent Live, like the TV
She
production.
did Rent Live? I didn't even know there was a Rent Live.
Yeah.
I knew she did Grease Live.
And then finally, just get this out of the way here. Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron dated throughout High School Musical's production.
Was it real or was it a publicity stunt? It could go either way.
But it was like for 4 years, so
It was probably real.
Yeah, it's probably a real thing. Then after that, she dated Austin Butler.
Oh my god.
Which matters way more in the past like 2 years than it would have like
Austin Butler's like taking off now.
Austin Butler's like legit an A-lister now.
Which is crazy. Hey, I'm Austin. He still sounds like Elvis.
Yeah. But then they broke up, and now she is married and expecting her first child with Cole Tucker, who's this random mediocre professional baseball player.
That's how you know it's
back
true love.
In the minors, and I find that a really funny like set of relationships.
Zac Efron, Austin Butler, and random now minor league baseball. I don't know how they
like met. It was just like she at a baseball game, and then she asked for his like autographs, and she goes, "Are you Gabriela Montez?"
That's exactly how it happened.
But she seems happy, so
good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Playing the role of Sharpay Evans, the iconic role, the standout breakout character, I would say Sharpay Evans. That is the biggest impact, if there's a character to have an impact.
Iconic.
Was Ashley Tisdale.
Yes.
We have not talked about Ashley Tisdale yet, but she is actually in a ton of DCOMs in theory. She's in the High School Musical. She's in well, no, she's not in Sweet Life, but she's also in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, which is
it's a spin-off.
A spin-off of High School Musical, and then the Phineas and Ferb movies.
Yes.
My mind's like, no, she's not in a lot of DCOMs. It's because it's really just the High School Musicals.
Yeah.
But that is a lot. And then, she got her own spin-off, so, like, I guess so. I would have liked to see her in, like, one more DCOM in a completely different role. Like, she plays the same character in 4 movies and then voice acts for Candace.
Yeah, who is a great character, but also at the same time,
she's voice acting.
It's a voice act. So Ashley Tisdale was Maddie on the original Sweet Life run.
Yep, Sweet Life on Cody. She was not on Sweet Life on Deck.
And then she is still, because they're still going now with Phineas and Ferb. There's another season coming out. She's Candace.
She does so good on Phineas and Ferb.
I recently was like reading an article or something with Dan Povenmire, the creator of Phineas and Ferb, who says there's only actually 3 characters on Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb are the setting. They're not characters. The characters are Perry the Platypus, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and Candace. And they're the only ones with actual arcs. So, like, she is arguably the main character of the show.
I would agree. And we've been watching more Phineas and Ferb lately. And it's something we realized watching it as an adult is like, Candace is like the biggest character.
Yeah.
Like more than Phineas and Ferb.
You don't Phineas and Ferb are set dressing, who are like pulling up they're creating the plot for Candace to react to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really, like, the show follows Candace. And also, she's like one of the funniest parts of the show.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
So, but that's all. We'll talk more about that with the Phineas and Ferb movie, because luckily
Yeah.
we get the chance to just talk about how great the show Phineas and Ferb is.
Yeah. One thing about Sweet Life, Zack and Cody, just, do you remember the episode where Zac Efron came on Sweet Life with Zack and Cody? Him and Ashley Tisdale made out. It was so weird.
Crazy.
It was like an enemies to lovers, like 1 episode arc. It was crazy.
I remember Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, the episode they did about High School Musical.
Oh my god!
Where they try and be like, Maddie goes, "I think I could be Sharpay," and everyone's like, "I don't see it."
Yeah, she says, everyone says I look just like her, and they're like, "No, I don't see it." And then when they're doing the show, the director of the play says to Cody, like, "You know, you kind of look like Zac Efron." And he's like, "Oh," and Maddie goes, "And I don't look like Ashley Tisdale."
it's pretty fun.
It's great
pretty
episode.
Fun lampshading. Ashley Tisdale originally auditioned to be Gabriella, which imagine that world for a second, and then be happy that it's not.
She's perfect for Sharpay.
I like Ashley Tisdale as an actress a lot, especially in these roles. Like her big roles, she does a good job being in them. I don't know if she has the chops to be a Gabriella. Genuinely.
No, I think she's perfect for Sharpay.
I think that she really it really worked for this.
Yeah. Is it like kind of mean of me to say, like, I don't even think she's that amazing of a singer?
No, I would agree. I don't think
she's not bad.
She
it's
is
just
technically
like,
sound and passable, but she never wows. And I feel like that's
it's like it's a very unique quality that it sounds too much like her speaking voice, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And there's like the tone of it just doesn't really do it for me.
It works in context more than it works outside of it.
Yeah.
She had a reasonably successful music career, but again, like everyone tried for one after High School Musical. She had several charting singles outside of High School Musical, nothing that stands the test of time.
Yeah.
I think she was what Disney pushed because Sharpay was the breakout role. She was the one that people would talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially in the sequels.
Yeah. Ashley Tisdale, more than everyone else, didn't really break out at the Disney window. It's quite possible because she was already the pre-established star of the DCOM because she was on Sweet Life.
That was already going. Yeah.
So she already had like her in on Disney, and I think she stuck with it, which probably was the right choice. I don't see really much of a world where she has that much success outside of the Disney bubble, and she's had so much success within the Disney bubble.
Yeah. I mean, landing Phineas and Ferb and just being able to stay with that, like, it doesn't matter what you look like anymore. It matters what you sound like, and you're going to sound the same. Like, I feel like it's huge for her.
Yeah. Also, the one like notable thing outside of Disney was she was like one of the main roles of Scary Movie 5. So
didn't she do like the sitcom once?
I
think she did.
Maybe. Again, I had to do a lot of research on this stuff. I almost certainly missed stuff.
Yeah, it's okay.
We are 4 names in. We got like 6 to go.
We've already been recording for half an hour.
I just want to say you're welcome to skip ahead, but we're gonna talk as long as we can.
We're gonna keep going. Keep trudging through.
Playing Ryan Evans is Lucas Grabeel.
Yeah.
I always say Gabriel.
It's Grabeel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact that I recently learned, because I think they talked about it like maybe it's YouTube or TikTok or something. Like Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Grabeel were not getting along during filming High School Musical.
No.
Like they're good now. They're friends now. They've gotten over it. But I think what they said was like
they didn't under each other's process. Like
Ashley was leaning into the Sharpay role a lot, where like she was kind of controlling a lot, and I bet it was all the producers and stuff like egging her on to do it too, where it rubbed Lucas the wrong way. Like it was kind of their characters seeping into real life, and it made them like kind of not like each other that much, but like their sense they are fine. But it's kind of a fun fact for behind the scenes of High School Musical.
They don't let it show. The movie still
No,
works
they do
really
such
well.
a good job in the movie.
Everyone in this film does their role how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
So much of this film could be so much worse. This is like where we talk about a lot of the bad DCOMs and we say, I could see a good movie in this. This is that good movie. There's so many pieces here that could fail. If Troy just doesn't act well, this whole movie doesn't work.
Or really any of the
characters. If like one of the main singers just can't sing well, it's way less entertaining. Every piece comes together correctly here.
Yeah, and is it maybe a little cheesy? Yeah.
Yeah, but it knows it is.
It knows it is. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucas Grabeel.
Yes. So he was in Halloween Town 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And he also had a cameo role in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. I know you don't want to count it, but
I don't count it because it like didn't even air.
It aired on TV. That was the difference between the TV and DVD version. Because the DVD came out first.
That's so weird. Okay.
Yes. We'll talk about that with Sharpay. But that means he is technically in 5 Disney Channel original movies.
Okay.
Very few people have made 5. He's in High School Musical 1, 2, Sharpay's, Halloween Town 3, and 4. So a lot of sequels in there.
Yeah.
3 of those are tied to previous roles, but still.
Okay.
It's
but
impressive.
here's the thing: is High School Musical 3 doesn't count technically as a DCOM, and his cameo in Sharpay's shouldn't count. That should be like 0.25 of a DCOM. So I do not consider him the king of DCOMs.
No.
He's no Brenda Song.
But it is just valid to note, I think, because if we're just going by pure efficiency, that's a lot. He was the lead role of the Netflix / Nickelodeon show Pinky Malinky.
I have no idea what that is.
It's an animated show where he's a talking hot dog. That's all I'm like, apparently this is the thing that he's known for.
Okay.
He had a big role on Switched at Birth, which that you can talk about.
Okay, yep. So Switched at Birth, baby. I watched this show as a kid. I recently rewatched all of it. He is a big character in this show. It aired on ABC Family, now known as Freeform, about 2 girls that were switched at birth, and he is the brother of one of the girls. And he does pretty good in it. He does sing in it. He's like a musician in the show, so that's fun.
They got to use those talents.
He's a really good singer, by the way. He does a really good job in like High School Musicals and in Switch Up Birth. He does a good job. Only thing I want to note is that so one of the families, like the mom has red hair and the biological daughter has red hair. In the like pilot of the show, they tried giving Lucas Grabeel like red hair. And it looks so stupid. And they gave up on it so fast and just let him be blonde. Like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. But yeah, he did a good job in the show.
All right. He is primarily a voice actor now. He has like notable actual roles on like Family Guy and DreamWorks Dragons.
Is that like a How to Train Your Dragon thing? Okay.
Not much that I can say too much about that, but like that's where he's getting a lot of his current work. And then he was a part of High School the Musical, the series.
He
cameo in both season 1 and like 4. Basically, a lot of the other cast did. I didn't mention it for everyone. I just mentioned it here.
Like none of the big people that you would expect.
Everyone who's like not big was like, yeah, I'll cash that check.
But like Ashley Tisdale didn't do it.
Ashley Tisdale didn't. Like Vanessa Hudgens didn't. I don't think.
Zac Efron
definitely did.
But Lucas Grabeel did. Corbin Bleu, Minnie Coleman. The girl who plays Martha, which I don't think you talk about in these factors, we can talk about her in a sequel. She loves milking the High School Musical stuff.
It's probably her biggest role.
Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned him briefly here, but playing the role of Chad Danforth is Corbin Bleu.
Iconic.
This is the one person we have already talked about.
Yes.
And jump in. So just quick run through of some random fun facts that I thought were fun. He was in Catch That Kid, which is a movie from my childhood with Kristen Stewart.
Okay.
He got second place on Dancing with the Stars.
Fun.
So good for him. He had several notable theater roles, including In the Heights, Hairspray, Godspell, Kiss Me Kate, Little Shop of Horrors, Mamma Mia.
He was in Mamma Mia with Dove Cameron.
Yeah. He also had a brief music career, like a lot of people did.
I don't know if we mentioned this when we talked about Jumpin'. We might have, but whatever, I'm going to mention again. He was in High School Musical, the series. He had a big role in season 3. Like, he was in...
He had a legit role.
Multiple episodes playing Corbin Blue. Like, he was playing himself. A weird version of himself that's, like, scripted. But the point was that, like, he's Corbin Blue from High School Musical. Because the show's
about High School Musical.
The show is about...
movie.
Yeah, the show knows that High School Musical is a movie. And they put on the show High School Musical. It's weird. Don't watch the show. You can if you want.
Watch only season 1.
I hate watch it. Yep. So that's it. But yeah. He did the like cameo in season 4. Man, season 4 really made you think that the people coming back were gonna be a lot bigger deal than they were. They were in like one scene the whole season. Being like, we're filming High School Musical 4, which isn't real in real life, but it was real in
fake life.
This fake universe. And that was like it. They were in like the first scene of the first episode, and that was like it. It was really disappointing.
All right. Moving on to the role of Taylor McKessie, we have Monique Coleman. This is out of the main cast, probably the one who's least done stuff other than this, which makes sense. We're getting to the less populous roles. So yeah, not much about High School Musical, like done a few episodes of popular shows like Gilmore Girls, Malcolm in the Middle, Bones, Veronica Mars, shows where she could do like an episode arc and that's it. She had a recurring role in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I don't remember it, but there. And she got 4th place on Dancing with the Stars.
Was it the same season?
I don't think so.
Okay. Also want to mention she was in, it was either like Hallmark or Lifetime or, you know, one of those cheesy places. She was in a movie with Corbin Blue. And people were freaking out because like, oh my god, they're back
Such
together.
an easy marketable opportunity for 2 actors that are not getting a bunch of work these days.
Yeah, that were a couple in High School Musical. Yeah.
Easy. Playing the role of Kelsey Nielsen is Alyssa Rulin. She had small roles in Hounded, Proof Point, and Halloween Town High, which along with this in High School Musical 2 means 5 DCOMs for her. That was wild to me to find out. She has very minor roles in Hounded and Proof Point.
It was so funny watching Hounded, and I'm like, is that Kelsey? And I was so right. She was so baby. She was a little kid. And then obviously she grew. It was fun that she got to stick around in DCOMs and then landed the biggest one.
Yeah. She's also a trained ballet dancer.
Whoa.
Like, professionally. She did not act full-time until after High School Musical 2. Like, she worked at a Nordstrom during the first film's release, which is just kind of crazy. Imagine you're working at a Nordstrom, your coworker says, hey, I'm going to be in a movie on Disney Channel. I don't think anyone's going to watch it, but if you want to see it, I dance in there.
It's about a musical. Yeah, and she did, this is important, she did the We're All in This Together dance wrong. There was a debate like maybe a year ago on TikTok about how you do the arms. Like, do you like pump up or do you push down? And the answer is that you like pump your arms up, but Kelsey, freaking Alicia Rulin, is doing it wrong. And she's like the first person you see in the shot doing it. She bamboozled everyone into thinking that you just like pump your arms down. Like, no. Come on, guys. Do better. Do the We're All in This Together choreography better. All right, keep going.
Yeah. She did not really have that many other notable credits that I thought. She had a recurring NCIS Los Angeles role. That's probably her biggest thing. She's several other like decent TV show credits. Look, TV shows you've heard of, but we don't watch and don't care too much about. So that's where she's still getting like her acting jobs, just various TV episodes. Now for the 2 adults, playing the role of Jack Bolton, aka Coach Bolton.
I never knew his first name.
Aka the person I played in my middle school's production of High School Musical, the musical,
Slay.
is Bart Johnson. He has not done much outside of High School Musical.
Nice.
Did some TV work, such as in Hawaii Five-0 and NCIS, a lot of stuff, but not a crazy ton. This is his peak.
It's Troy's dad.
Yeah. He is the current brother-in-law to Blake Lively. He married Blake Lively's sister.
That's
So
awesome.
that's just kind of a fun little thing. So on a family get together, you can see Blake Lively.
And currently he is milking that High School Musical fame on TikTok.
Again, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? He has one of the most iconic lines of the movie. What the heck are those two doing in a tree?
What the heck are those two doing in a tree? You feel him coming out of me.
Yeah, I mean, you played that character.
I did.
Did you get to say what the heck are those two doing?
I genuinely don't remember. I don't think so, because I don't think that's how our set was.
I wish you remembered more about, because we were watching. I'm like, did you say that in stage promotion?
It was a lot different because we also were fitting in different High School Musical movie songs in all of High School Musical 1, 2, and 3 had songs in our performance. Yeah,
that's so fun. I'm sure you did say, but you're not just a guy, Troy.
I'm pretty confident I did.
That is a pivotal moment of the movie, so I feel like you had to have said
I'm pretty confident I did. Playing the role of Miss Darbus, we do not have a name for first name, is Allison Reed. She was a Tony nominee for her role in Cabaret. Also got a lot of love for her role in Marilyn of American Fable.
Wow, so she definitely was qualified to be a drama teacher.
She was a big, genuine... A lot of the old people in DCOMs are established industry vets getting one last kick, showing themselves off, probably, so parents go, someone I remember.
She was perfect for Miss Darbus. Yeah. She ate that role up.
So she has a bunch of credits. I didn't write a ton down because honestly, she's not that big into this film, and it's stuff that I don't really know as well, but she was a big theater person. Mm-hmm. She had a major role in the film adaptation of A Chorus Line, which I had heard of. Several other TV credits such as Murphy Wrote, Frasier, Desperate Housewives, just things like that. Got through the cast.
Oh my goodness!
Ready for some fun facts?
Yes,
this is the most fun facts that I had, and I honestly have other ones in my brain that I might mention. We'll see.
There's so much.
First off, this won Primetime Emmys. For Outstanding Children's Program and Outstanding Choreography. Both sense. Deserved. Yes. I don't know what else is there, but come on, it was a cultural moment.
Duh.
Yeah. Matthew Underwood, who played Logan on Zoe 101, was offered the role of Troy. Full stop.
Damn.
But had to decline because of his Nickelodeon contract.
Oh my gosh, can he sing?
I don't know.
He must be able to. He was fully offered the role.
Full on offered.
That's crazy. In another world, we wouldn't have had Zac Efron. I'm happy we had Zac Efron.
Yeah. This film was filmed at East High in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
I don't think it's actually called East High.
Is it not? I thought it was. They at least pretend that it is in High School Musical, the series. You went there.
Yes.
You visited. You were just outside of it. I wish I came with you to Salt Lake so that I could have do the jump in front of the high school. That's a bucket list item for me. It's so stupid, but I want to go and stand outside where High School Musical is.
It's just right in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is East High School.
It's East High. Are they the Wildcats?
Let me look at their Wikipedia.
Wildcats everywhere. Wave your hands up in the air.
2007, they staged their own production of High School Musical. Demand for tickets was so strong they had to add performances.
I'm sorry.
Wait, this is the school that Roseanne Barr went to in high school?
They put on High School Musical? Then how come in High School Musical, the musical, the series, they pretend like they haven't?
Probably.
They're just liars.
I can't see what their mascot is.
I hope it's Wildcats. If it wasn't Wildcats, they had to have changed it after High School Musical to Wildcats.
I feel like you got to do that just for marketing reasons.
I feel like the inside of that school is so ingrained in my brain and so iconic. I can't even imagine going to school there. It must have been so cool.
Okay, one thing that I did find was students still use Sharpay's pink locker. Imagine
They
getting
are able to use it?
Yeah, apparently.
It's not like set aside as
No.
like an
It's like
exhibit.
apparently used.
That's amazing.
So
It's
imagine
like a
getting a
double
sign.
locker, right? And then the third one, they make it like 2 lockers in one.
Yeah.
And it's pink. It was
Pretty.
pink in this movie too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Which is so funny that like they're filming this movie and they're like, can we spray paint this pink for her character? And the school's like, sure.
There was a 10th anniversary reunion special in 2016. It was attended by the whole main cast except Zac Efron, who was at the time filming Dirty Grandpa. He did give a pre-recorded message.
Whatever. I think he just didn't want to come because he's
I
a
wouldn't
hater.
be surprised. He really does not talk about it as much as the other ones do. Michael Jackson, who again was a fan like of Kenny Ortega, and they're worked very closely together. He apparently personally called Zac Efron to talk about how much he liked the performance.
That's so
Troy.
cool. What the heck?
So I was
That's
just like,
awesome.
wow, that's wild. Apparently, at some point, there was a planned duet between Coach Bolton and Miss Darbus.
Good, that was.
I think it's probably good that it's cut, but I do want to know the concept.
They're just fighting, probably.
Yeah. They're one scene together. They turn that into a song.
Yeah.
High School Musical was originally just supposed to be the working title for the film, but they never came up with the one that they liked, so they just kept it.
It's freaking iconic.
Yeah, so. But I mean, if this movie was bad, it would be a bad title.
Yeah.
But luckily it's not. They aired a sing-along version of this movie a day after the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And then a dance-along version a month and a half later.
You best believe I watched that dance-along version and learned the choreography. Like, I was obsessed with High School Musical. I had it on TiVo recorded, and one day it was deleted, and I was so mad. I'm like, who deleted my High School Musical? And I think it was just because it was there for so long that it automatically deleted.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, who would have done that to me?
Probably TiVo.
And we mentioned this in our Lemonade Mouth episode, but I used to do the like stick to the status quo choreography in my basement. I had a little coffee table that I would use as my table and do the choreography. I was obsessed with this movie. I used to fantasize about someone duetting like Start of Something New with me. And like in a romantic way. I don't know. It was silly. This movie had a chokehold on me. I had the book that was like the extra behind the scenes book or whatever that came with like a little playbill for the Twinkletown, like the musical that they do, and all of these like pictures and stuff. Man, High School Musical.
It's a moment.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to mention, which I didn't put in my notes, but I've realized I probably should mention. There's a lot of speculation and there's a lot of things to talk about, both this movie thematically, but also explicitly as like a gay movie. I mean, it is very thematically about someone coming to terms with a side of himself that is not able to be expressed as freely, and potential parental pressure, stuff like that, which is an interesting discussion. Kenny Ortega has recently, like somewhat recently, explicitly stated he wanted Ryan to be openly gay, but Disney would not allow it.
I know. They like put Ryan and Kelsey together in the third one because people were speculating that Kelsey was gay also. It just sucks because I feel like that is what the intention was, and that is like Lucas Grabeel really looked like he was playing that too.
Yeah. No, and if you look at, so basically Kenny Ortega explicitly tried to code Ryan still. He was queer coding the whole time. But yeah. It was not anything official that. It's just important to know, just like for potential intent, stuff like that. Yeah. That's worth a mention.
Okay, right. You ready for the Disney Plus description?
Give it to me. I've done a lot of talking.
This is a long description, so buckle up. Troy, Zac Efron, is best known as the player who keeps the East High basketball team on the scoreboard. Of course, life isn't always about athletics, though, and as Troy slam dunks on the boards, beautiful and brainy Gabriella, Vanessa Ann Hudgens, is raising the school's reputation as the key member of its highly successful academic team. Despite their outgoing natures, no one would ever peg Troy and Gabriella as theater types. When word gets out that this popular pair has decided to audition for the school's musical, the students of East High are about to learn an important lesson in teamwork, while gearing up for a performance that will have their audience dancing in the aisles.
Very confident in itself that we're all going to be dancing. I did
I
not
would be
dance
dancing.
during High School Musical this time we watched it. I kept myself still in my seat.
He said, I can't embarrass myself in front of my girlfriend.
This is a fine description. It's interesting they still note her as Vanessa Ann Hudgens when she really just goes Vanessa Hudgens.
It's a fine description. I do think it's a little loaded where it doesn't need to be. Like, it talks about how beautiful and amazing Gabriella is. Like you can cut some of that out. Especially because like it's way more important how popular Troy is.
Yeah, Troy's popularity is way more important.
Yeah, Gabriella's like the new girl.
No one really talks about Gabriella as part of like anything.
Well, I mean, like Taylor's posse definitely wanted her, but like, it's less important. I also like how they're like, nobody would ever peg Troy and Gabriella as theater types. Like the way the description is so funny. Yeah. All right, now that we've already been talking for an hour, are you ready to jump into the movie?
Oh boy. Yep. Anyone who is skipping ahead, you can resume now.
This is the
Don't
part.
say we didn't warn you.
Yeah, we talked a lot about just the actors and the movie, but now we're actually going to talk about what happens in the movie.
Let's jump into it.
You're not coming up with another DCOM?
I have wasted my mental load on all the factos.
All right. We open up Disney Channel original movie. We open on like a ski lodge. On-screen text, which we get throughout the whole movie, by the way. It's really fun because it looks just like how I would do it in Windows Movie Maker.
It really looks like Windows Movie Maker. It's a weird stylistic choice, but it's fine.
It works. It's okay. Like it leans into the cheesiness of this movie. It's really fun. It's New Year's Eve. So there's a party going on, and I noticed that like everybody has really fun hats at this party.
I mean, if you like hats, this is the movie for you, especially Ryan, but
I think this New Year's Eve party, like they said specifically,
bring a funny hat.
Bring a fun hat. It's hat themed.
Hat themed year.
Someone has like Viking horns, and there's a bunch of like gold sparkly hats. Yeah. So Gabriella is like reading a book, and her mom's like, "Come on, you need to go to the teen party," and she's like, "But I want to read my book." But she's smart. She doesn't want to mingle, but her mom convinces her to go. Then we see Troy and his dad. They're playing basketball in the gym, and the mom comes in and is like, "Come on, guys, did we come all this way just to play more basketball?"
They both explicitly say yes.
Yes, because they love basketball.
They love basketball so much. Troy will never do anything but basketball.
That's so true. The mom's like, "Come on, it's time for the party," and so they go. And now we get to the teen party, and everyone's wearing their cool hats. There's karaoke going on. Like, it's so fun. There's a lot of teens here, by the way, at this ski lodge.
Yeah. Maybe it was the place to be. It was the teen hit club.
Yeah.
Club has everything.
Troy and Gabriella walk in like separately, they don't know each other yet. Gabriella is like, "I'm going to read my book in the middle of this party." They just don't want to be here. And she doesn't like go and find like a quiet area or anything. She just sits right in the middle on a couch and is like, "I'm going to read my book." So whoever was singing karaoke, their song ends. And the guy, the DJ, whatever, he comes up and he's like, all right. Who's ready to sing karaoke?
This is a social contract. If you don't want to, too bad.
Too bad. There's like spotlights. What? Where did those come from? And they land on Troy and Gabriella.
This is such a weirdly contrived way to get them together. You can hand wave it away because it's the first minute of the film. But it's like they could have picked so many different ways for this to happen.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So like you two have to do it. And both of them are like, no, I can't sing karaoke.
It's karaoke. No. I guess no one's drunk, so they don't have that going for them.
They're all teens.
Yeah.
But they shove them on stage, and the guy goes, "Hey, someday you might thank me for this." I wonder if they ever thanked him.
You think they wrote him a letter?
I hope so. When they get married? By the way, there's like TV screens kind of up behind the stage.
You love this fact.
It's so
You mention this every time.
You would think that these TVs have the karaoke like lyrics because it cuts to like during the song, it cuts to screens that have the lyrics.
Yeah.
But the screens behind them explicitly is just like live streaming the party that they're at. Like it's just footage of the teens at the party. It's so weird.
It's just footage of themselves. It's like security cam footage.
So funny.
But in full color and HD.
Anyway, they're gonna sing Started Something New. I guess the DJ just picked a song for them that they must just know. My guess is like in universe, this is a popular song.
Yeah. So this is something that I just have a fun fascination mentally about, which all of these songs, there's like 4 diegetic songs or whatever. There's like a few songs that are considered actual performance songs here.
This is one of them.
This is one of them.
Yeah.
So this means this is like a popular song where they don't even have to be like, you gotta sing a song or anything. They just say, you're singing this song. Everyone knows this song. This is like a big hit.
Unless Started Something New is in the meta narrative and they're actually singing like Don't Go Breaking My Heart or something.
I do feel like this is an Elton John song. I feel weird that like that's what they're kind of going for.
Yeah, no, I think this is just actually the song. So Troy starts singing. It's his part first. Living in my own world, didn't understand. And he's like kind of nervously doing it, like, I guess I'm doing this, whatever. He finishes his part and he's like, oh, I'm over this. He's walking away because Gabriella looks all nervous. But then Gabriella starts singing, I never believed in. And Troy like turns around
180.
So good.
Like the full-on slow-mo.
Like, whoa. And then she says, what I couldn't see, I never opened my heart. And he goes, oh, like he has to come in and do his little, oh, to all the possibilities. People sleep on this song. I know, like, it's the first song in the movie. It's really early that, like, you probably forget about it. This song is so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah. People need to talk about it more.
It is genuinely really good. And if you don't agree with us, fight us. We're available at the DCOMduo@gmail.com. We do not have any fan mail today. I just realized we never covered that.
Oh, whoops.
But no fan mail. Email us there and tell us about why you think Starting Something New is the greatest song of all time, which we would disagree with, but not that much.
Not that much. Like, if you say your favorite DCOM song is Started Something New, I'll say facts. And like, and say, good for you. Like, it's not mine, but it's up there. Yeah. The start of something new. It feels so right to be here with you. And I love second verse starts. His jacket comes off. He is feeling it now. Mm-hmm. And the crowd is like, oh, hell yeah. And they start like grooving. And like, this doesn't really happen during karaoke where people are super into it and dance and stuff.
It can.
I feel like
it doesn't feel like at this party it would. No one was paying attention to the last song.
I feel like it's super fun though that like they were randomly picked and then they ended up killing it. Yeah. Like, who are these strangers? I would get it.
Like, normally it would be like one of them can sing perfectly and the other one can't hold a note.
Yeah.
It would be like if we went up.
Yeah, so the crowd's super into it. And remember, Gabriella like almost falls off stage, but she gets pushed back up. And Troy is like getting like close to her. He's like super into it. And she kind of starts feeling it.
Troy wants to kiss her the entire movie.
My gosh, yeah. He's like, this is so fun. Like, they just kill it and they have a blast. And it's really cool. And then after the song, they like go outside and they're talking. They're like, oh my gosh, like, so you're a singer? And both of them are like, no, I've never really sang before. Like, it's crazy. Gabriella especially mentions that like she gets stage fright. So that's why like she doesn't really sing much. And then the countdown to New Year's happens and the fireworks start going off. And there's just this kind of awkward moment where they look at each other like, should we kiss? Like, probably not. Like, they're never really that close to kissing, but they kind of look at each other like,
Troy says, I'll do it in his eyes.
It's kind of awkward. Like, but it's never actually close to happening because they literally just met each other. But yeah, I think it's cute. And then Gabriella's like, well, I guess I should go and find my mom and wish her a happy new year. And he's like,
as you do.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, I should too. But I'll call you tomorrow. And she goes, yeah. And then they like take each other's phones and they put in each other's phone numbers, and they also like take pictures of each other.
They do this really quick. Like, it's shocking really how quick they have.
With their little flip phones, they like take pictures of each other so they have like contact pictures. It's really cute. And he's like, yeah, I'll call you tomorrow, which we're assuming that like he never called her because they don't talk until they see each other at school. Yeah, they
presumably never talk.
I wonder why he didn't call her. And she says like later when they're at school, she's like, I tried to find you the next morning. He's like, oh yeah, we had to leave first thing. Why didn't they just call each other?
I don't know.
It's fine, whatever. So he's like looking at his phone or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, I don't even know what he was saying. He's like, yeah, cool, whatever. And she like slips away while he's talking, and he like looks over and she's gone. I really feel like
she's avoiding.
I know. Which is weird. Maybe she's just shy. But he sees that she's gone, and he looks out into the distance and goes, Gabriella. It's so cheesy.
Well, she returns the favor in High School Musical 3.
It's also like the most romantic thing I've ever seen. So, all right. So now on-screen text. 1 week later, we're in Albuquerque. Now
they really don't mention that much at all in this movie.
I mean, it says like here Albuquerque, and then Gabriella says like, "Oh, my mom got transferred to Albuquerque."
Yeah, well, I'm just saying they decided to make it Albuquerque, which is fine and completely reasonable. And I mean, Albuquerque deserves to have more media recognition. It's a real city that's fun to say. That has the Breaking Bad universe, the Weird Al song, and this. And that's
High School Musical, yeah.
But why wouldn't they just say like Salt Lake City? I guess they don't want people to think they're all Mormons.
I don't know. Okay, so now we're at East High. Troy gets off the bus, and like everybody around him freaking applauds. They're like, yes, it's Troy.
You haven't been that popular.
I mean, to be fair, it's like all the athletes and the cheerleaders, so they like especially like Troy. Chad gives the most exposition, like we'll talk like ever. He's like, yeah, Troy, it's a happy Wildcat New Year. Yeah, this year we're going to go to the championship because you're going to take us there. Yeah.
Basketball. I'm holding a basketball so you know what sport we're playing.
I love basketball.
And I'm going to lampshade that. We needed that for the exposition tool by holding it the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and you're the best, Troy.
This is a perfect impersonation of what Chad sounds like.
Yeah.
Corbin Blue is actually in our room right now speaking these for us.
Oh, Troy, you're so cool. Sharpay walks by all the guys, and they're like, oh, the Ice Queen is back. What? They're like making fun of her for being rich and popular. I guess. I don't know.
Well, everyone just hates Sharpay for being Sharpay.
I know, because she's like
reasonable.
An annoying rich theater kid that gets everything she wants. All right. We get Gabriella being shown around the school with her mom and the principal. By the way, the principal was in double teams. Was he the coach? I think he was the coach. Yes. Yeah.
So another basketball role.
Yeah. He's just the principal here, but he does like basketball. So that they get shown around, but then Gabriella is like, okay, bye, and she goes homeroom. All of the main characters are in this homeroom. It is Miss Darbus's homeroom.
Yes, Miss Darbus's homeroom is fire.
It's literally every single main character.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
So I just like to imagine they all think they're these big deals to the rest of the school, and they're not. It's the
They kind of are big deals to the rest of the school, though.
Yeah.
Troy's just like talking with his buddies, and Gabriella walks by, and he like double takes, like, whoa, wait, is that her? She doesn't notice him. Miss Darbus starts class. She's like, everyone, make sure to sign up for school activities, especially the musical.
The musicale.
The musicale.
She always says musicale. The winter musicale.
The winter musicale. It's so weird that there's a winter musicale, but also they mentioned like there's gonna be a spring musicale.
Mm-hmm.
That's so many musicals for a year.
Too many musicals, but she missed Arbus. You don't want to distrust her.
That's so true. The leads for the role for like the musical have to audition in pairs for some reason. She's like, there's single auditions for the minor roles and pairs auditions for the lead roles. Like you have to have a friend to audition with, which maybe
that's a real thing in like real life casting.
Maybe you can like show up and just get paired with someone that also showed up.
Because it's kind of like they're trying to gauge chemistry.
Yeah. But I feel like you can do that like step 2 of the audition process. Like I feel like you should be able to just audition. This is the winter musicale.
They got a quick turnaround on this. So it's so close to not being winter.
My headcanon is that Sharpay just made it that way so that her and Ryan are like guaranteed the roles. Yeah. Anyway. Troy, being the brainiac that he is, he sees that Gabrielle's in the back of the room. He decides to just call her cell phone to make sure it's her. And everyone hears the phone go off, and everyone also is like, "Is it you? Is it my phone? Whose phone is that?"
And Miss Jarvis punishes all of them, which is dumb because they're like,
everybody pulls out their phone to see if it's their phone. Because apparently they don't know if it's their phone.
Should have waited a second to be like, Miss Jarvis, can someone turn this off?
Like she starts taking everybody's phone, and everybody's getting in trouble, including you, Mr. Bolton. And Chad is like, well, but Miss Darbus, Troy can't have detention. We have basketball practice. And Miss Darbus is like, you also get detention.
She really is on one that today.
Yeah, and then Sharpay is like, they're lame. And then Miss Darbus is like, you also get detention. Like, everybody gets detention. Which is so mean. Like, it was Taylor that was making fun of them and then got detention. Which she only got like 15 minutes of detention, but that means you can't take the bus home.
Yeah, it's just rude. It's rude. She has after school activities anyways.
Yeah. I just love though that Chad was like, Troy can't have detention. He's our basketball player.
These characters get like deflanderized throughout. They're at the beginning of these movies. They're all their one personalities, and they like break themselves up into actual characters later on.
It's just exactly if you guys have watched Bottoms, it's exactly the way they treat the main jock of the school. It's like nothing can happen to him. He's a god. And then, so to end homeroom, Miss Darbus is like, any other questions? And Jason, who isn't a big character, but he is around for all 3 movies.
He is very much like a D character in all the movies. Yeah,
he raises his hand and goes, so how was your holidays, Miss Darbus? And everybody like groans and rolls their eyes.
It's pretty great.
It's so funny because
I would love to pull that shit in a class.
There's always a kid that would do that. All right. So after class, Troy like grabs Gabrielle in the hall and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. Like,
what? How are you here?
How are you here? Gabriella's like, yeah, I just transferred here. And Gabriella's like, why are we whispering? And he's like, oh, no reason. And she's like, oh, so you haven't like told your friends about how you sang karaoke that one time?
No, you sang karaoke and liked it?
Oh, no. And he's like, yeah.
Well, you're going to see in like the second act, people really don't like that.
Yeah, my friends wouldn't like that I sang karaoke that one time. And Gabrielle is like so understanding the whole movie about like how he's trying to hide who he truly is.
She really should be this understanding.
It's really until he's mean to her that she's like, whatever, I'm done. But yeah, they like are walking around the school and they see the sign-up sheet for the musicale. And Troy's like, oh, you're gonna sign up? And Gabriella's like, no, like I'm still getting to know the school. Like I'm not gonna dive into any extracurriculars now. And then Sharpay just like appears and she's like, what's so funny, Troy? It's me, Sharpay. And then Sharpay puts she like John Hancocks the sign-up
More
sheet.
than John Hancock. She Declaration of Independence it. She's bigger in text than the rest of the printed text combined.
Yeah, she takes up every single slot for the sign-up sheet. She doesn't even write Ryan. She just writes Sharpay. Like, I guess you're assuming Ryan. Maybe later Ryan, like, went in and wrote and Ryan. Like, really small. That's my headcanon. She takes up the whole sign-up sheet. It's like, oh, were you guys gonna sign up? And they're like, no. And she's like, brother and I star in all of the productions. I'm sure there could be like a supporting role for you. And they're like, no thanks, Sharpay. And then Gabriella leaves and she's like, nice penmanship. And walks away. She's like, gives a little look to Troy of like, Sharpay doesn't get to me. And Sharpay stays and tries to flirt with Troy, but Troy doesn't really care. And then Sharpay says, Toodles.
Toodles had a grasp on society for a
really
little
did.
bit.
It really did.
Completely has dropped off the face of the planet. But Toodles was a moment.
Yeah. Okay, so now we cut to basketball practice, which we figured out later that this is like free period.
A free
workout.
period practice.
Yeah. They have a free period that they can do whatever they want, apparently.
This is also day one of the class where they got detention.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole team is in the gym in their basketball uniform, like fully in their uniform. And Troy just like casually brings up the musical, so it's really on his mind.
He really wants to do it, but he really
does.
wants to be like not his idea.
Which is crazy that he's just like,
he had such a good time. It awoken something in him.
That one time singing karaoke was so fun. And now that Gabriella's here,
it's a sign.
What if we sang karaoke on stage? But also it's a musical. I don't know. But he's just like, yeah, so I heard if you sign up to audition for the musical, you get like extra credit. And Chad's like, the musical? Dude. Like, that's so lame. And Troy's like, yeah, it's pretty lame, but extra credit's pretty cool.
He's trying to get Chad to do it. I feel like he doesn't know Chad well enough.
He's just put a feeler out of if it would be like cool for him to try out for the musical. And Chad's like, do you think LeBron or Shaq did their High School Musical? No, man.
I mean, I could believe it.
And Troy's like, yeah, I don't even want to do it anyway. Like, it's crazy. But maybe like Sharpay is kind of cute.
But she never is into Sharpay. No, I can't believe he would even like consider that as the reason.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one named character we know.
Yeah, he's just trying to find any excuse of why he would do the musical. And Chad goes, yeah, so is a mountain lion, but you don't pet it.
Good burn.
Yeah. All right, Wildcats, time to practice. Boom, 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 beep. Boom, 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 beep. It's get your head in the game.
Yeah, it's gotta get you. Get you.
Coach said to fake right and break left. Don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay.
We're not gonna sing every song for you.
I will.
That's in the deluxe version.
Gotta get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the game. This song is really fun.
It's way better in context than it is out.
Well, I don't like listening to it on its own because it makes me mad it's not Zac Efron.
But it works really well. And this one,
it does.
Yeah. It was a hit from this, like.
Yeah. Oh, it's like their whole thing. Get your head in the game.
Yeah.
They say, what team Wildcats? After this song is the first what team Wildcats, what team Wildcats, what team Wildcats, Wildcats, get your head in the game. Iconic. They say it a lot in this movie and every other movie. Mm-hmm. Isn't it fun that Chad gets to lead the what team?
Yeah.
I think it's fun because they're like co-captains.
He's the spirit lead. Let's be
really
real.
is. Yeah. Anyway, the choreography in this number, so fun with the basketball. And they're all just
it's pretty iconic.
Circling around. Basketball. We love basketball. That's from the bad lip reading of High School Musical.
Yeah, people may not understand that reference.
They should. Go watch the bad lip reading of High School Musical. It's hilarious. I love when It's spotlights on Troy. Why am I feeling so wrong? It's in the game, but my heart's in the song.
This is the most like cheesy song by
so
far.
Good.
It's kind of wild how much more cheesy this is than the other ones.
Yeah, why am I feeling so wrong part.
Every other one feels serious, and this just feels like it's making a joke out of everything.
She makes me feel so right. Should I go for it? He's looking right at the camera.
Yeah.
Should I go for it? I gotta shake this. Yikes. Bounce. It's so good.
And then they dribble some basketballs.
Get you, head of the game, and then they shoot. Woo! And then all the basketballs disappear. Somehow. Whatever. So the team leaves. Practice is over. Coach never showed up because we figured out his free period. They do the what team Wildcats as they're leaving, but Troy lingers behind because he is conflicted.
He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But he can still make his shots right now because he's not sad.
Exactly. So now we cut to like, I'm presuming science class. They have like lab tables and stuff, but it looks like the teacher is putting a math equation on the board, which I guess could be in science. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Sharpay is talking to Gabriella. Gabriella's back is to the board, which is like gotta be one of the worst setups for a classroom. That's again, so annoying.
I think this is free period.
That makes sense.
Because not only was the practice just free period, they're not talking about class at all. There's like a science room. There's science equations on the board, but there's also math equations on the board.
Then why is Sharpay there?
Something. They could have the same free period.
No, you can do whatever you want in free period.
Maybe she was just doing some homework.
I actually think she just wants to talk to Gabriella and scope her out.
That's probably it, because she's threat because she wants to get with the Bolton.
Yeah. She specifically is like, hey, Gabriella, so you like talking to Troy? And she's like, yeah, but Gabriella's like not really paying attention because she's like doing the math on the board. And while they're talking, she's like, she mumbles to herself like, that should be 16 over pi. And the teacher is like, what? And Gabriella's like, that equation should be 16 over pi. And the teacher,
like, that's impossible.
The teacher goes, that's quite impossible. But then she checks her notes and she's like, I stand corrected. Oh, and welcome aboard. And Sharpay is like floored that Gabriella just did this. As if it was like a huge burn to Gabriella or to Sharpay. It wasn't. She was just being smart. But Sharpay's like, oh, what? All right. So then Troy Bolton goes and looks at the sign-up sheet again. Gabriella's not here. No one's here. He's just like, well, I kind of want to do it. And he goes over.
It's more than he really wants to do it.
He goes and looks at the sign-up sheet and kind of like nods at it. But then leaves and doesn't do anything. But Ryan was watching him do it. And Sharpay comes by and Ryan's like, Bolton was just looking at our sign-up sheet. And Sharpay's like, earlier she was looking at it with that new girl. Like, something is going on here. Let's go get some intel. So Sharpay and Ryan go to the computer lab and they Google Gabriella.
Well, not Google. It's like really off
internet search.
It really dates this movie with how different it looks nowadays. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this is like an 2005 production.
So do their like flip phones.
Yeah.
Anyway, she Googles Gabriella. She finds out that she's like super smart. Ryan calls her an Einsteinette. And Sharpay is like, we are so cool that like we don't even need to worry about them as competition, but just to make sure that we don't have to worry about them, I'm gonna meddle a little bit. And she prints out
a little meddling.
Yeah, she like prints out this article about Gabriella being really smart. So we'll see what she does with that later. And then we get some more on-screen text. It is detention, Darbus style.
Which
just means free labor for...
It's literally slave labor.
Making the musical.
But with a little fun spin to it, so you don't complain.
Everyone is like painting the sets for the musical. One guy is wearing this like camel costume where it looks like he's riding a camel.
Pretty sick, not gonna lie.
It's pretty random. We really don't know what this musical is about.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that now? We'll talk about it eventually.
We can talk about it now.
Twinkletown is the name of this production, which first off, terrible name.
It is a terrible name.
Terrible. Second of all, it is presumptively written, at least the music is, by the student Kelsey.
Yes, we thought the whole time the musical was written by Kelsey, and we just watched a YouTube video about what is Twinkletown about, and it's revealed in the like extra book that I had as a kid. Miss Darvis wrote this musical.
Yes.
And Kelsey wrote the music.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Which I'd like to say, I didn't talk about it too much in the factos section, but this film did phenomenally in real life in terms of the music sales as well. Like, Breaking Free, the final number, is like a #2 Billboard hit.
It's so good.
So, canonically, Kelsey wrote all these songs, like 3 huge, mammoth hits.
Yeah.
Like, more if you include the sequels as well.
Yeah.
So, what a talented songwriter.
For real.
But yeah, the musical makes no real sense and none of the songs really come together.
Who made that YouTube video?
I think it was Dream Jelly.
Yeah, go watch that. It just came out. And we watched it last night. Because we're like, well, we just watched High School Musical. Now we gotta know what the musical in High School Musical is about. Okay. Taylor goes up to Gabriella and says, yes, the answer is yes. We want you on the Scholastic Decathlon team. And Gabriella's like, what are you talking about? And Taylor's like, didn't you put these papers in my locker? And Gabriella's
what
like,
a rude way, if this was true, what a rude way to like introduce yourself to the team.
It's not rude. It's just
like,
weird.
Be like, hey, I fucking won this already. I'm on your team.
No, it doesn't even say on the paper, can I be on your team? It just is an article about how smart she is. And Taylor's like, she must want to be on the team. Yes, you could be on the team.
It's a weird way to ask to be on the team.
And Gabriella's like, of course I did not put that in your locker. That is so cringe. Like, no. And Taylor's like, oh, well, we want you anyway. Like, they don't look into who did this at all. They're just like, oh, okay. Well, you want to be on the team? And Gabriella's like, no, I don't. I don't really want to do anything. Like, I'm still learning the curriculum here. I'm new. Like, I don't want to jump in anything right now. But Sharpay jumps in and she's like, oh, but Gabriella, like, you'd be so good for it. Like, she's trying to get her to join so that she wouldn't do the musical. Then Miss Darvis comes in and starts rambling on about like cell phones and the theater.
Miss Darvis is very much. If you haven't seen the film, if you've seen the film, we don't need to describe her that much. If you haven't seen the film, stop watching this. Watch the film.
For real.
You'll get more from it that way. But if you're just here for our commentary, she's iconic. She's great, but she's also the same in every scene. She just goes, oh, theater, production, sports are poo-poo,
bravo,
cell phones are dumb.
Bravo. We got to basketball practice, and coach is like, all right, 2 weeks till the big game.
Oh, we love that big game. East High versus West High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always against West High.
They're the only other team in the region.
You know their team name? There's some trivia for you. Who are the West High
Knights?
Yeah. West High Knights. Hey, we're doing it. Right? Okay. Coach immediately notices that Troy and Chad are not here. And he goes, where's Troy and Chad? Don't make me ask again. Where's Troy and Chad? He just yells them and they go, in detention. I don't know why they didn't answer right away.
Really, they had no reason not to answer right away. What are they going to do to him?
They didn't. They're not the ones that got
They're
detention.
not the ones that got detention. They were the ones who did their job.
Yeah. Look at detention. The 2 boys are in a tree. Okay, this is important.
Important context.
It's a prop tree, and Chad is like falling asleep inside the tree, and Troy is like dangling a leaf in front of him. It's funny. Miss Darvis is still talking about cell phones and stuff, and Coach barges into the auditorium, and he goes, Where's my team, Darbus? What the heck are those two doing in a tree?
What the heck are those two doing in a tree? It's one of those lines that has found life outside the movie.
Because it's amazing.
Yes.
What the heck are those two doing?
It's just one of the classic cheesy DCOM dialogue moments, honestly.
Yeah. And like trees become part of Troy's personality, particularly in the third movie.
Yes. So this was his starting point.
Yeah. Okay. So Coach is like, Darbus, we need to talk. You two go to the gym. Practice has started. So we cut to the two teachers in the principal's office arguing.
Who's watching the kids right now?
The basketball players? There's an assistant.
Not the basketball players.
Oh, the theater kids?
There's probably like a teacher they got to stand in.
Probably, yeah.
They're both like employed there.
Yeah. Coach is like, you can't take my players. It's basketball time. And Darbus is like, this school is
I know you haven't seen a Lemonade Mouth yet because it hasn't come out yet at the time this came out, but the arts matter too.
This is literally just Lemonade Mouth right now. Darbus is like, this school is more than sports. And the principal's like, guys, I'm sick of you guys having the same argument that you've been having for years. We are one faculty. Get along already. So, hey, coach, how's the team looking? And Darbus is like, oh, because clearly he favors the sports. But it's not as severe as Lemonade Mouth, let me tell you. All right. So now we're at basketball practice. Coach is like, we're one game away from taking the championship from the West High Knights. He's like, you guys are the team. Each and every one of you needs to focus. What team?
Wildcats.
What team?
Oh, wait, I don't remember.
Wildcats.
Oh, okay.
To end the game.
Yeah, I need to.
All right. We cut to Taylor and Gabriella talking outside. Taylor asks Gabriella again, like, will you join the team? And Gabriella's like, no. And Taylor's like, but I really, and Gabriella just cuts her off and says, so what do you know about Troy Bolton?
Like, Gabriella fully dominates all these conversations. She passes off as being shy in a lot of things, but she's very much the aggressor in conversations.
She dominates this conversation.
It's a funny thing to watch for the dialogue.
She fully is like, no, I don't want to join your team. What do you know about Troy Bolton?
I'm using you right now.
And Taylor like makes fun of the cheerleaders. She like goes over and she goes, oh my god, isn't Troy just like the super hottie bomb or something? And they all go, oh my god, yes. And she's like, see, Troy and these sports people are in another dimension from us because he does sports and we're smart.
And it's impossible to do more than one thing in this very fragile social ecosystem.
So true. You get one thing that's assigned at birth.
This is really like a young adult dystopia.
Yeah. And then they bond over like not having nail beds. Like Gabriella goes, my nail beds are history. And Taylor goes, she holds up her hand and goes, sisters. So there's that. Now we're at Troy's house. Troy practices more with his dad, who was his coach. Don't forget. Like he did free period practice and then after school practice. And now they're at home practicing more basketball.
They love basketball.
And
they love doing the basketball. That's it.
I found this line so funny. Troy is like, hey dad, you ever thought about like doing something new?
The start of something new.
And dad goes, what, like going left? You doing fine, come on.
He is so focused on basketball and he's like, my son has only ever talked to me about basketball.
And Troy goes, no, like really new, like something you're afraid that your friends are gonna laugh at you for. And the dad's like, well, if they laugh at you, then they're not really your friends. But you gotta be there for your team and get a college scholarship. So like he was close to being there because he's like, if your friends don't support you, they're not really your friends. But also, let's not forget about basketball. You need to do basketball.
I always sympathize with the, hey, if you perform well now, you're going to get a college scholarship type thing. Because having some level of importance on that can be very important to getting a college education. Getting a college education is good for a good life.
It's because High School Musical pretends that the only way to get accepted into college is by getting a scholarship.
Yep.
And that's not true. Troy's family is well off. You can tell by their house.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because he is a high school basketball coach.
Hey, we don't know what she is.
Yeah, the mom probably makes bank because they were at this nice ski resort. Yeah.
He's not doing that on his high school gym coach salary.
No, definitely not. He's doing it as a passion project for because he's like the trophy husband.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that conversation. Back to homeroom. It's a new day. Sharpay gives Miss Darbus a present because it's just like showing that she really schmoozes Miss Darbus and like controls this whole drama department.
Yeah. No, the thing, Sharpay, she is the precursor to Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss.
Yeah, for
she
sure.
started that in our society without even trying.
Do you want to talk about real quick about how everyone for a moment thought that like no, Sharpay is the real victim in this story?
Was weird.
That was weird. It's like as a kid, you're like, oh, I hate Sharpay. Right. Or I mean, I love her, but like she's mean.
She's the villain.
She's the villain.
Is unambiguously the villain.
But then you get a little older and you're like, no. Her drama department was robbed from her. Like, she deserved it. But then you get even older and you're like, what was I thinking? Like, she's mean.
Not only is she mean, she, like, is very controlling. It is explicitly shown, like, she will cut anyone for anything.
She is particularly really mean to Kelsey in this movie.
So, that's, like, a whole aspect. And while you can argue, oh, but, like, she lost everything she was, like, big on. Are you saying you're watching High School Musical and your takeaway is you should stick to your own lane? Is that really the argument you want to go with?
That is not the moral of the story. Oh, man. It's all the theater kids being like, meh, basketball stars shouldn't get the lead in the musical.
Well, maybe just be better.
Anyway, in homeroom, Troy and Gabriella just fully are like googling eyeing each other. Miss Darbus announces that during free period this morning, there's going to be the musical audition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like free period must be you can do whatever you want. Otherwise, the auditions should be after school. But it's during free period. And after homeroom in the halls, Chad is like, hey, Troy, we're going to do like some more basketball in free period. And Troy's like, oh, no, I'm going to study. And Chad is like, what? That's sus. By the way, this is the first Chad shirt that we notice. He wears a lot of silly t-shirts.
It's like a whole thing throughout the whole series where he wears t-shirts with funny sayings on them.
This one says, I come with my own background music.
And like a picture of a cassette tape. Sure.
And then we have this whole sequence of Troy like dodging Chad and also his dad and sneaking around the school. It's fine.
It is probably the most fluff the movie has.
It is, yeah. But it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fine. This movie is very well paced, and this is the one spot where it's kind of like, they didn't need to do that.
It is super well paced. So many of these DCOMs were like pausing and stuff and taking notes. And we're like, oh my gosh, this movie's dragging. Like, how are we only this far along? High School Musical, every time I pause, I'm like, so much has happened already. Like, I'm so into this. It's very well paced. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Troy makes it to the auditorium and he's pushing around a janitor cart with his face hiding behind a mop. It's pretty funny visually. Miss Darbus starts auditions, and I guess they announced that final callbacks are gonna be next week.
Yeah, this whole movie takes place over like
2 weeks.
A 2-week period.
Yeah.
And if you include New Year's,
I guess then that's
15
a week
days.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks then. But yeah, pretty wild. But they also like the timeline always makes sense, which is good that like they kept track of that. Okay, Darbus says like you're gonna sing a few bars for me now, and then I'm gonna give you feedback and tell you if theater is your calling or not. Miss Darbus is straight up saying, I will decide if I'm gonna cut you right now or not. Like, I feel like this theater department is really scrapping for people to join, and she's just fully cutting people. She's not even putting them in the chorus. I think she's just like, nope, you're not good enough. Yeah, which is so stupid. Kelsey is going to be accompanying on piano, and she also wrote the music for the musical. We know this. How fun is it that we have the same name, Kelsey and me, Kelsey?
Yes, it's maybe confusing for our audience at home, but
Eh,
only one of them's a character, so you can hopefully figure it out.
it's okay. The one in High School Musical is spelled with an I.
Yeah.
So every time we say Kelsey, that has an I in it. Just know that we're talking about in High School Musical.
That will certainly be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now we get to the whole audition sequence.
yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say about this is I feel like after the Pitch Perfect audition sequence, no audition sequence ever like stands up to that.
That's
so even
true.
though this is good,
It's not as good
it's
as,
not Pitch Perfect. So it feels disappointing, even though it is good.
It's cute. All these kids are auditioning, and they're all like bad, I guess. A lot of them are just not singing well. I love the kid in the full suit. Like,
And he's looking at his hands for the lines.
Yeah, he and his mom picked out that outfit trying to get into the music. And he doesn't make it.
Like these kids could have had parts. I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm surprised Miss Darvis gets enough people for all of these shows.
I feel like she doesn't. She's always telling people to audition. Maybe it's because she's like, all these people suck. I need some talented people. There's this opera singer girl who is genuinely really talented, and she is like,
go for the next one.
Maybe the spring musicale.
And it's just because there's not a need for an opera singer, and she's going way too ham with the material.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can work with that, hopefully.
Yeah. At the very least, she can sing. But whatever. It ends with the interpretive dancers, which are so funny. They're going, it's hard to believe that I couldn't see.
And they're like holding their hands above their eyes.
And they're just kind of crawling around on the ground. And Miss Darvis is like, that was disturbing. Go see a counselor right now. So then in the back of the auditorium, Gabriella finds Troy.
Why did she come?
She was also intrigued by the musical.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to hide it because she's new.
Well,
people have preconceived conceptions about her, whatever.
She's probably just entering the auditorium and saw Troy very obviously standing behind Mop.
Yeah, he's not being secretive.
She's like, you auditioning? He's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, me neither. Haha. And she's like, you still hiding from your friends? And he's like, yeah. And then the girl on stage doing the next audition, she's about to sing, but then she freezes up. And Miss Darvis just shoos her away, like, oh, next. This poor girl has stage fright, and Miss Darvis doesn't give her a chance at all.
She doesn't want to put in the work. She wants finished products.
So true. I think this is good foreshadowing though, for Gabriella also feels that way. And it's kind of like a reminder of why
Gabriella says she has stage fright, but it really only comes up twice.
Yeah. And Troy and Gabriella both admit that they're pretty scared to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is kind of the reason why I never did theater in high school. I always thought I was going to as a kid, but it just didn't really pan out. None of my friends were doing it, and I was too scared to go by myself. It just wasn't really my crowd, so I never did it. And it's kind of sad because I'm definitely into it.
Yeah, I mean, I did it throughout middle school, had a good time, and then in high school just did not fit with the schedule of what I wanted to do. I have some regrets where I didn't get to do it, but also the stuff that I was doing instead I enjoyed, so I'm not going to regret it. I had a good middle school time. I also always got casted in the good acting roles and the bad singing roles. I was Coach Bolton because I can't sing.
Yeah, but you can give the lines. What the heck are those two doing in a tree?
Yeah.
All right. So now it's time for Sharpay and Ryan to audition. Kelsey goes what key? And
WILDCATS.
And Ryan's like, oh, we had a rehearsal pianist come up with an arrangement or something. So they just get a boombox and they play their own version. And they draw the curtain and they start with the snaps coming out of the curtain. It's so good. So this is what I've been looking for. You know, it's hard to believe that I couldn't see. You were always right beside me. This version slaps.
Yeah. We're going to talk about, we can wait till Gabrielle and Troy's plot twist, surprise of the century. They perform this as well. We'll talk about that then, but Sharpay and Ryan kill it.
They absolutely kill it. They have a whole choreography. Ryan does his jazz squares and it like messes Sharpay up at one point, and at the end of it, she like kind of mouths him or whatever, like says to him, I told you not to do jazz square. And he goes, it's a crowd favorite. Everybody loves a good jazz square.
Everyone does love a good jazz square.
So true. Jarvis is also into it the whole time. Like, these are her prodigies.
Mm-hmm.
These are the only two talented kids that are in the theater program right now. All right. So they're done. Miss Darvis calls for any last minute auditions. She's like, is there anyone else that wants to audition?
To an empty theater.
Empty theater, just in case.
In case someone's like hiding behind a mop who really wants to do it.
Yeah. Ryan is like talking to one of the girls. He's like, don't be discouraged. The drama club needs more. They need fans.
Yep.
Buy tickets. Like, we need more. We need more than just actors. We need fans. It is so rude. Kelsey goes up to Sharpay and is like, Sharpay, for that song particularly, like, I really envisioned it to be like slower, like a ballad. And Sharpay is like, I've done a lot of productions. How many have you done? And Kelsey says this will be the first. And Sharpay,
like, how many have you written? Like,
yeah,
okay, Sharpay, writing a musical is a different thing than
starring
acting in a high school or middle school musical.
Sharpay says, so what does that mean? Or what does that tell us? And Kelsey's like, that I need to write you more solos? And Sharpay's like, no, it means you don't get to have input. Like, you need to stay in your fucking lane, is what she says. And just like literally, she's like towering over Kelsey because Kelsey's pretty short.
Kelsey's very short. That's both of them.
Both Kelseys are short. She towers over her and like scares her into submission. And then that's it. Like, this is where Sharpay is just fully a bully. And is like, I control the drama department. You don't get to have input on the songs that you wrote, Kelsey.
What? Huh? How? She's like the playmaker.
I know. What? Miss Darvis says, any more auditions? No? Good? Done.
Auditions are done. When I say done, I mean it's over.
It's
no exceptions. Unless someone comes out in the next 5 seconds. This happens twice.
It's officially the end of Final Jam. Just kidding. It's done because she shuts off her little lamp. But then Gabriella comes out and says, audition Miss Darvis. And I love Troy's reaction. He's like,
it's so aggressive about it.
It's so funny.
Like, you're gonna sing?
And he like hides again. And Miss Darvis is like, well, single auditions are well over and there's no one for a pair. Like, I said it was the end. Like, you can't just come now. Like, there's no more pairs. And then Troy comes out. First he says, I'll sing with her. And then he comes around the corner with his hand in the air. And
his hand in the air, his other hand like behind his head.
Yeah,
like,
and he's like, I'll sing with her. It's so cute. And it's like beautifully directed. Yeah. It's like an iconic moment. Like, I bet that would play in like commercials for the trailer. Mm-hmm. I'll sing with her. Miss Darvis is like, Troy Bolton, where's your sports posse? And he goes, team. She's like, whatever.
She said posse when she meant team. She really does not like sports.
Yeah. She says, well, here we take shows very seriously. You didn't respond when I called for the extra auditions, so you're done. And Troy's like trying to be like, you have to hear her sing. She's amazing. And Miss Darvis is like, nope.
I don't care. Because I have so many people chomping at the bit and that are great singers.
She literally had like one pair audition that she cared about. The other was the interpretive dancers. But whatever. Miss Darvis leaves and Kelsey on stage just falls down and her papers go everywhere. So Troy and Gabriella run up to help her. And Troy is so sweet in this moment. He's like helping her pick things up. And he's like, so you wrote that song that like Sharpay and Ryan sang and you wrote the whole show? And Kelsey's like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's really cool. I can't wait to hear the rest of the show.
Troy's really nice when he's being genuine.
When he's just being himself. Yeah. He's a really nice guy. He says, why are you so afraid of Ryan and Sharpay? Like, this is your show. You're the playmaker. And Kelsey's like, I am? And he's like, yeah. And she says, do you want to hear how it's supposed to sound? And she goes with the piano and Troy and Gabriella come over and Kelsey like has them sing the song. So this is what I've been looking for, Troy and Gabriella version. Mm-hmm. And it's like the slow down ballad version.
It's hard to believe that I couldn't see. You were always there beside me. It's worse.
I think it's worse. A lot of people say it's better.
I know, and that's if we're fighting hands for stuff. Is the movie's leading you to try and believe this version's more real, more authentic, better.
Which I do like it enough.
The poppy version, preppy version, snaps and all is so much better.
It's better. It is. Like, dislike the ballad version because I think it does work as a ballad, but. You gotta love Ryan and Sharpay's version. Come on.
It's just so much more energy.
Yeah, for real. I also love that Gabriella adds her little ooh at the end.
Kelsey looks at her at one point like
oh, a little ad-lib. Okay, Gabriella. I feel like they barely look at the sheet music too. They're like staring at each other while singing this, which to be fair, they did hear it sung multiple times, so like that's fine. It's a way bigger problem in High School Musical 2 that they just instantly pick up how to sing these songs. Like in High School Musical 1, it's not really a problem. Like they heard this song sung a bunch of times and could probably pick it up pretty easy. And then for Breaking Free, they practice it for like a full week. So that makes sense. So no problems in this movie. Once they're done singing, Miss Darbus all of a sudden appears from the corner and she says, Troy, Gabriella, you guys have a callback. Kelsey, give them the duet from the second act. Work with them on it. And I'll see you for final callbacks. And Kelsey is like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, she's so excited. She just starts rambling on, like, okay.
She doesn't want to work with Sharpay.
No, she, like, would you rather work with Sharpay and Ryan or, like, Troy and Gabriella, who were just super, super nice to you and listen to how you want the songs to be performed?
Like, so she's like, I'm available this time.
Yeah.
We can skip biology.
Yeah, she's like, I usually fall asleep during biology, so if you want to do it during biology, she says, if you want to do it after basketball class, do it then. Which I've never
basketball class.
I've never picked up on her saying that before. It's so funny. She's like just rambling on about all these times, and Gabriella's pretty excited, but Troy is just like, what just happened? Like, it all happened so fast. All right, so now it's a new day. We cut to Sharpay screaming because there is an announcement on the board that says final callbacks. Sharpay and Ryan, and also Troy Bolton and Gabriella Montez are there for an audition. And they're like, how could this happen? And Ryan's like, maybe this is a prank. Maybe there's cameras. Maybe we'll get to meet Ashton.
I would love to see Punk'd be done for like a high school where it's just like, here's two people getting a call back. Gotcha. That's so good.
Maybe we'll get to meet Ashton. And Sharpay goes, oh, shut up, Ryan. And Chad, like, and a lot of the other basketball guys are like laughing at her freaking out, and they come over and she's like, and he's like, what's wrong? And they show them the list, and Chad and the team like see that Troy is on the list for the callback. They're like, what? So then we skip the little starting beats to stick to the status quo. The bump, bono. It's this movie is so good.
Stick to the Status Quo is the quintessential song of this. I don't think it's the most popular. It's definitely not the most popular.
No.
It's definitely like not the most well remembered or anything like that.
It's one of the biggest like productions.
It's not only the biggest production, I would say it is
I mean, We're All in This Together is pretty big.
Yeah. But this is the one that is the movie's core in the most.
100%.
And I'm going to say this now because there's one complaint I have about this, and I've had it for a while. I love the song overall. It works really well in context. It works well out of context enough, even though I don't think it's that special. The audio of the chorus and like when the whole company is singing feels too low to me. I feel like the audio mixing is just off.
Yeah, you don't like the audio
quieted,
mixing.
where I feel like the solos sound like they're at the same level or higher than the chorus. I feel like it needs to be louder. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it wouldn't work if I heard it like that, but it's something I've been complaining about for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're about to get sick to status quo. Sharpay, her table is up on this like kind of balcony part that looks over the rest of the lunchroom. This school's layout is so cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's a real school.
It's a real school. It's actually like that. She's like ranting to her little lunch table posse about like Troy and Gabriella. And she's like, who does Gabriella think she is? Someone's got to tell her the rules. And then she looks over the balcony and we get stick to the status quo. So we start with Zeke. He's on the basketball team. He's like pacing back and forth. And he's like, all right, you can bet there's nothing but net when I'm in the zone and on a roll. But I've got a confession, my own secret obsession. And everybody says, everybody gather around. Like, Zeke has a confession, guys. Let's hear him out. And he goes,
Zeke really isn't much of a scorer. The more I'm thinking about it, I feel like we always see Troy and Chad score.
How dare you? You could bet there's nothing but net when he's in the zone and on a roll, Benji.
Maybe he's a center, which honestly that could make sense.
He probably is.
So he would be the guy just going for the easy lay in.
When I'm in the zone and on a roll. So it's time for his confession. I bake. And they're like, what? And he's like, cookies and
brownies,
creme brulee. And they say, no other sound.
Everyone's like, we'll hear you out. But the moment you say literally anything, we will completely, the fuck up, you are out of the friend group. We only can like one thing.
No. Stick to the stuff you know. This is literally what the whole movie's about. Yeah. Stick to the status quo, my guy. All right, moving on. Martha. Look at me and what do you see? Intelligence beyond compare. This is, I think, one of my favorite parts of the song is when she comes in. And they go, open up, dig way down deep. She goes, hip hop is my passion. I love to pop and lock and jam and break. Is that even legal? Not another peep. It's just dancing. Sometimes I think it's even cooler than homework. So she's in the Brainiac group. And she thinks dancing is sometimes
Occasionally. Not always, but sometimes she thinks it's
cooler than homework. And they're like, oh my God, no. Stick to the stuff you know, which is books.
If you want to be cool, follow one simple rule.
Don't mess with the flow.
Oh, no.
No.
Stick to the status quo.
Girl, just sit her down. Is pop and lock and jamming even legal?
We don't even know. It got challenged in the Supreme Court, and it's outstanding.
All right. Final kid. It's the Stoners. And he admits...
Well, the skaters.
Oh, no. Sorry. They ride skateboards.
They definitely aren't smoking the doobies.
He says, listen, well, I'm ready to tell. And he admits that he likes to play the cello instead of smoking pot.
Well, probably in addition to smoking pot.
Right.
Because remember, these are the only people in existence who have multiple hobbies.
And they say, speak your mind and you'll be heard. And he says, I play the cello.
If Troy can be true about his singing, I'll play the cello. It's like a guitar or a violin, but tall.
Oh, so? He's like, yeah. and they say, not another word. I just like, it's crazy to me that everyone's like, yeah, man, speak your truth. What the fuck? You play the cello? And he has to wear a coat and tie. And they go, no. Stick to the stuff you know, and they like pretend like they're smoking a blunt. Just kidding. They do skateboarder moves. They're like, we ride skateboards. We don't play the cello.
I don't even know who Yo-Yo Ma is.
And then like you get the wide shots of everyone in the lunchroom doing the choreography. They're like dancing around the tables. It is so freaking fun, and I love like picking out the people that clearly are not good dancers.
If you watch it with your eyes like blurred or just like without focusing on a specific person, it looks like a great group number. Yeah. If you watch an individual person, 90% of them are not doing great.
Which is so funny. There's definitely like professional dancers in there, but also just like some teenagers that are in this movie. It is amazing. Nobody has food.
Yeah,
just so funny.
Because you don't want that on a scene like this. That's too much to work around.
This isn't the meta narrative. Okay, they're like jumping on the tables. They're doing the like throw your arms in the air thing. Corbin Bleu especially is like slaying this choreography.
Corbin Bleu was a good find for this movie.
I know he's a good actor too, and a good voice. Like he was a good find. All of these kids were good finds. And then we get Sharpay's moment. This is not what I want. This is not what I planned. And obviously she has the part where she interrupts Ryan. She goes, something's not really wrong. Like, iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic. We gotta get things back where we belong. We can do it. Gotta play. Stick with what you know. We can do it. Hip hop hooray. Our friend Ben, who has been on the podcast before, we were like singing this song once. And
as you do.
So it goes like, stick with what you know. She has got to go. Keep your voice down low is the progression. And Ben, while singing, went, stick with what you know. That is not all right. Keep your voice down low. 2 out of 3 of them right. But hip hop hooray. That is not all right.
It's pretty iconic. It's
like my favorite thing. When I listen to this song now, I always, instead of singing the actual words, I go, that is not all right. Keep your voice down low. And then Sharpay goes, everybody quiet. Boom, boom. And Gabriella and Taylor walk in. And everyone's looking at them. And Gabriella goes, why is everybody staring at you? And Taylor goes, not me, you. And Gabriella's like, because of the callback? I can't have people staring at me. I really can't. I just love
that Gabriella has the audacity to assume everyone's looking at Taylor.
It's so funny. But like, it might just be that she's dumb in this moment. But she does not think at all that they're staring at her. She just turns to Taylor. Why is everybody staring at you? It's so funny. And Taylor has such attitude about it. Like, not me, you. Like,
obviously,
you're on the freaking callback list, Gabriella.
Don't you know the social waves that it's making?
So then everybody starts dancing again for the final chorus. No. Gabriella's trying to make her way through this crowd, and she's the only one with food. She has a full lunch tray, and Sharpay is walking down the stairs. And then, yeah, and I guess some milk spilled. I think it was Gabriella's milk, and she's like getting tossed around. Gabriella slips on the milk, and her cheese fries. I think they're cheese fries. They're pretty nasty looking, actually. They're like chili. They're like chili cheese fries. They go flying in the air, and they land right on Sharpay's chest, and she screams.
Yep.
So this is our goop. This is goop.
This is the one gooping of High School Musical.
Yes.
So it has to be a DCOM.
Sharpay screams, and this is the first time we see Troy. Troy tries to like run over and help, and Chad stops him. He's like, "You do not want any part of that drama. Trust me."
It is like a very rare moment in this movie of Chad being a good friend. It's maybe not for the perfect reasons, but he's like genuinely like, I am defending you right now Do not go over there.
Not
That
get
is
involved.
not going to go well.
So then Miss Darvis comes over and Sharpay's like, oh, by the way, Taylor and Gabriella ran away. Because Gabriella tried to say, like, I'm so sorry. But Taylor, like, pulled her away, like, nope, we're done. Like, get out of here. Miss Darvis comes over and she's like, what happened? And Sharpay's like, you girl, her food on me on purpose. She's trying to destroy our musical. And I know how hard you've worked on it. It just doesn't seem right. So this is Sharpay manipulating the whole situation. And people try to say Sharpay's the hero. Like, no.
People just are too obsessed with trying to say villains are heroes.
Yeah.
Sometimes just let fun villains be fun.
Yeah. So back to Troy and Chad. Troy's like, what is going on? And Chad's like, what's going on? Here's what's going on. You skipped free period workout yesterday to audition for the musical. And now people are like, Zeke
is baking.
Zeke is baking. And Troy's
like, oh, cool,
she's like, what? You bake? And Zeke's like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'm making this like amazing creme brulee. And Troy's like, that's really awesome.
Because Troy's just like an open-minded fella.
Yeah, Troy's just a nice guy and supportive of his friends. And Chad goes, shut up, Zeke. Your team is falling apart because of you. Like, the nerds think that they can, like, talk to us now. What?
What?
Chad says, people are thinking that they can do other stuff that isn't their stuff. Oh my gosh, what? That's crazy. People can't have more than one thing that they're into. That's impossible. Chad says, we gotta focus for our playoff game next week, okay?
Yeah, gotta remember, they still got the big game.
The big game is in like a week now.
Yeah, they're gonna face West High for the big game.
The big game.
They're not very clear on
they
what
say championship.
They're just not very explicit about it, other than just saying this is such an important game.
My headcanon is that East High and West High are the only two teams in their conference.
This is the one game of the year.
Yeah. All right, so Miss Darvis goes and storms into the boys' locker room to go find Coach Bolton. She goes in there and says, all right, what's his name? Jack or something?
Yeah.
She doesn't say his name. Right, Bolton. Are you trying to sabotage me because of detention? And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, your son came to my audition. And now I give everyone a fair and equal chance.
No, you
which
don't.
is a tradition in the theater. Which, yeah, fucking when, Miss Darvis, do you give everyone a fair and equal chance? One girl had stage fright and you shoot her off the stage. You said no to like everybody that auditioned except for Sharpay and Ryan. And then Troy and Gabriella, you were not giving them a fair chance until you just heard them sing. And now you're like, I gave them a fair chance.
No, you didn't.
You just clearly didn't, but whatever. Yeah, I give everyone a fair chance. And if he's there trying to plan some kind of practical joke, and we're just like, what are you talking about? Troy doesn't even sing. And Miss Darvis is like, oh, well, you're wrong about that.
Yeah, she's like, I hate this man, but he's got pipes of gold.
And she's like, he better not ruin my musical Twinkle Town.
And Coach Boland, realistically, just starts like can't hold him to laugh. This is the first time he's heard the name Twinkle Town.
Twinkle Town? And Miss Darvis is like,
so offended.
And she storms out, and he goes, oh, it sounds like a real winner. Good luck on Broadway.
I'm just imagining people in the school being like, I gotta go take a twinkle.
In the town. Twinkle Town. All right.
You go to the bathroom. Hey, you guys want to hit up Twinkle Town?
That's such a good way to make fun of this full musical. Okay. Gabrielle is talking to Taylor, and Gabriella's like, I really wasn't trying to outshine Sharpay. Like, the audition just kind of happened. And Taylor's like, yeah, well, Sharpay's a bitch, so what can you do? I
do wonder what this would look like with actual high schooler logic, because there would be way more swearing.
Gabrielle's like, it just happened, but I liked it a lot. Oh,
Gabriella.
she says, "Do you ever feel like there's this whole other person inside of you just waiting to get out?" And Taylor's like, "No."
I feel like Gabriella and Taylor's friendship is entirely one-sided.
Yes, they're having completely different conversations at each other at all times.
It is either Taylor explicitly manipulating Gabriella to be on the team,
Yeah,
or Gabriella
talking to a brick
explicitly
wall.
just being like, I only care about these topics that you're not interested in. Well, they're friendly the whole time.
They're friendly the whole
But
time.
like, why?
Okay, so the Sharpay goes to her iconic pink locker to change her clothes because she still has the food all over her. And Zeke comes over and is like, hey Sharpay, so since Troy is gonna be in your show, and Sharpay says, Troy Bolton is not in my show. And Zeke's like, okay. Well, I thought maybe you could come watch me play ball sometime. And Sharpay says, I would rather stick pins in my eyes.
Really approached Sharpay at the wrong time.
I know, she's already fired up. And Zeke says, wouldn't that be awfully uncomfortable? Sharpay.
Such a good comeback to that.
Good. Sharpay goes, evaporate, tall person.
That really should have caught on more. It did, but like,
funny. People like of recent have pointed out it's a funny line, but she walks away and he goes, I beg.
It's such a small scene that really does not need to be there, but it's just probably they probably had like a more. What you do in an editing room? You cut down stuff. And you're like, what we missing? It does
so
not
funny.
matter. But like, it's funny.
Yeah, I'm glad this scene is in because it is very funny. And it establishes that Zeke likes Sharpay.
Yeah, but again,
she like kind of comes back.
It comes back, but also not much.
Yeah. It's like those two, if Sharpay needs a love interest, it's like it's probably just Zeke.
Yeah.
Even though she tries.
Even though the whole point is like she's thirsting after Troy.
Yeah, like the whole series. Really. Anyway.
Until Sharpay's fabulous adventure, that is.
That's true, then it's Austin Butler. All right. Gabriella opens her locker and a note falls out and she like reads it and then like looks up to the ceiling like, oh, because she's a just teenage girl in love, yeah. Mm-hmm. Gabriella goes to meet Troy on the roof where there's a bunch of plants and she's like, it's a jungle up here. And he's like, yeah, this is my secret hideout. Thanks to the science club, they have plants up here and nobody knows about it. Except later the team finds him up there, so they do know about it.
Well,
he just thinks no one knows about it.
He really is like, I'm so secretive. Everyone's like, oh, Troy's having his me time. We're gonna
Troy's up on the roof again. Just pretend like you don't know. Yeah, I'll just pretend because he's the captain. So Gabriella's like, it seems like everybody wants to be your friend, Troy. And he's like, yeah, unless we lose. So basically just establishes that like he's under a lot of pressure to win. And he talks about how like his parents always pressure him and people always say like, your son's the basketball guy. You must be so proud.
Everyone loves the basketball guy.
Sometimes I don't want to be the basketball guy. You know, I just want to be a guy.
I just want to be the guy.
He's being so dramatic right now when he says, you must be so proud. Like, Zac Efron was giving it his all.
He's like, this is my one shot to make it big in Hollywood.
And Gabriella's like, do your friends know the guy that was nice to Kelsey that one time? And he's like, no. To them, I'm just the playmaker. And Gabriella says, well, at my old school, I was just freaky math girl. And so coming here was cool because I can just be anybody I want to be. And she said, singing with you, I just felt like a girl. And he's like, you even look like one too. He's so charming. And then this is the big moment, right? This is a big deal. She says, remember in kindergarten how you can meet anyone and like 5 seconds you're just like best friends instantly? Singing with you felt like that. So do you want to do the callbacks? And he says, hey, just call me freaky callback boy.
It's get it because it's a callback to the earlier joke.
Oh my god. It has layers. And Gabriella's like, you're a cool guy, Troy, but not for the reason your friends think. Thanks for showing me your hiding place, just like kindergarten. And then the bell rings and they hold hands and run away.
They're being so cute.
They're so cute together. Like, I buy their relationship,
Yep.
even though, like,
it's something we'll talk about in High School Musical 3, I think. I don't buy them staying together, but I buy them getting
together. Their relationship, like, is pretty boring. But
it's so milquetoast.
But it's believable.
Yes.
And it makes sense. And
especially in this movie.
Yeah. And like, I love Troy Bolton, so I would fall in love with him too. Okay. Then we get a montage of them rehearsing with Kelsey, like individually. And for some reason, there's this like kind of like ominous piano music. I don't know how to describe it.
They're doing like a whole practicing montage, but it's more creepy scoring. It's weird scoring.
It's a weird scoring choice.
It's like one of the rare directorial choices that feels off.
Which some of it is kind of like we're sneaking around and rehearsing. Because then like Sharpay and Ryan are trying to catch them rehearsing, which I don't get why they're like, oh, we have to hide from Sharpay and Ryan just because they don't want to get yelled at, probably.
They just want to avoid the drama.
Yeah.
Maybe they told them, oh, we're not actually going to do it. But they are. But yeah, there's a very iconic moment of Gabriella hiding in the bathroom because she's singing there.
Yes.
Sharpay storms in, looks around the bathroom,
takes open a stall, and Gabriella
we can't
comes
describe
out.
This in audio that well.
Gabriella comes out when Sharpay is gone. She was literally just behind the wall, but like Sharpay looks right where Gabriella was.
There is zero chance that Sharpay didn't see Gabriella.
I think she like jumped in the garbage can.
And then...
No, it makes no sense that she was able to hide there and Sharpay didn't see her.
It works on the screen until you think about it, and it's been a joked about thing.
Yeah,
like, I'm not sure we probably would have caught it on this watch, but we'd already seen people talk about it.
Oh, I already had figured it out because I've seen this movie so many times. I feel like as little 7-year-old me though, that when this movie came out, I probably bought it. Yeah,
but it's so dumb.
Yeah, and okay, during like over the ominous music that's playing, you do hear them sing little parts of Breaking Free, which is cool that like they hint the finale song like throughout their rehearsing, which is cool.
Because that's what they're practicing.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's time for basketball practice. And Troy isn't there. Uh-oh. Backstage, they're like making costumes and sets and stuff.
You can tell Troy's just the happiest he's ever been in his life.
So true. So Troy and Gabriella are like crossway at each other and they're looking at each other and kind of like bobbing their heads and bouncing a little bit because you can tell they're both singing Breaking Free in their heads. And they're just kind of like giving googly eyes at each other and dancing. It's cute. So then it's the end of basketball practice. Troy shows up. Everybody's leaving.
He's like, I'm going to do some free throws, knowing he's going to get in trouble for missing all of
He's
practice.
like, I think I'm going to stick around a little bit. And coach is like, well, yeah, I think your team deserves a little effort from you today.
Here's the thing. This is completely reasonable to ask. It's like dumb, but like he made a commitment to this team, and if he's going to quit this team, that's a different question, but he doesn't want to quit this team. So his coach should be mad at him for missing a practice for no reason, even though that coach is his dad.
I mean, I guess I was assuming he just had detention again, but we don't actually know that, do we? Maybe he just was helping the musical.
I think he was just helping because we would get told he had detention.
I don't know. Anyway, Gabriella shows up at the gym and they like get all flirty and she makes a basket.
Says she invented microwave popcorn.
Ha ha ha, they're all flirty, and then she starts like running with the ball. He's like, that's traveling. That's really bad traveling. And they're all flirty. And then coach comes in. He's like, this is a close practice. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bolton. And they like, she's like, hi, I'm Gabriella. And he's like, oh, your detention buddy. And it's just really awkward. And then Gabriella just is like, okay, bye, and runs away. She fully runs out of the gym. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Troy says, detention was my fault, not hers. And coach is like, you've never missed a practice before. And now that girl shows up and Troy says, that girl is named Gabriella. And she is very nice.
And she is very nice. It's such like an extra.
Funny. And she is very nice, okay? And she's not a problem. She's just a girl. And coach says, you're not just a guy, Troy. You're a leader. We need you to focus or we're going to lose, okay? You're special. You're a playmaker, not a singer, right? And Troy goes, you ever think maybe I can be both?
This is it's not my dream, Mom, it's your dream moment. This is
very iconic. It's played a lot.
Ever think maybe I can be both is just the line.
And then Troy walks out. And you see the whole team was listening from outside the gym. So I guess they were listening to him flirt with Gabriella too.
They're like, ooh.
Because, okay.
They're all still in their basketball,
they never left.
They did not go to the locker room.
I totally get that. They left the gym and they're like, ooh, Troy just showed up. He's going to be in trouble. Guys, let's listen in. And he's like, oh, I'm going to stick around a little bit. And then I like to envision that the team was about to leave, but then they heard Gabriella come in and they were like, whoa, hold on a minute. Let's stick around. And then they heard the whole fight go down.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right. So then we get the whole library scene where Chad is basically yelling at Troy for doing the musical. And Troy's like, whatever, who cares? The librarian keeps coming over,
it's
shut up.
It's gag that doesn't work perfectly.
Yeah, and Chad's like, it's him, Miss Librarian.
It's all Troy, though it's always Chad being loud.
He talks about how there's this Broadway guy that his mom was obsessed with, and she put his picture inside the fridge. Not on the fridge. In the fridge with the milk. And he's like, why would she put it in the fridge? And he's like, one of her crazy diet ideas. I don't know. If you're a basketball player, you're going to be on a cereal box. But if you're on Broadway, you're going to be in a fridge. So think about it. We need you, Captain. All right, so then Chad and some of the other basketball boys go and talk to Taylor. Ryan and Sharpay watch them, and they're like, oh my God, they're collaborating. They're going to take over the entire school. We can't let this happen. They're worried about the status quo.
Yeah. I would also like to say, they're worried about the status quo. Ryan and Sharpay are all worried about it, and they talk about being worried about it. They do no actions until the entire Chad and Taylor drama is resolved.
That's true, because they do change the date of the callbacks, but that's later.
That is after
they hear Troy and Gabriella singing again.
Yeah. So this is a whole moment where they're like, we're gonna work on this, but they don't.
No, and they're out of the movie throughout this whole fight.
Because Sharpay and Ryan are people number 2 and 3, 3 and 4 in this movie.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
They are.
But they are missing in this middle 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Mm-hmm. Be ready to not see Ryan and Sharpay for a little while. Chad and Taylor are like, we need to make a plan. We need to save Troy and Gabriella from themselves. So they're like, all right, starting tomorrow, we'll do a plan. Not to tomorrow. Chad is sneaking around with Taylor outside in the courtyard, and Chad is like, all right, we need to synchronize our watches, and he has 3 watches on his wrist.
Pretty fun little moment.
It's really funny. Also, he's wearing a shirt that says easily distracted.
Another fun little Chad shirt.
And he's like, all right, so exactly 12:05, we're a go. And Taylor's like, whatever. And so, yes, Chad, we are a go. And hands him a computer, so they have this whole plan. Troy goes to the locker room where his whole team is waiting, and they prepared.
It's literally
this
an
whole
intervention.
Speech. Yeah, it's an intervention, and they prepared this whole speech, and they're talking about these legacy players. I
think they did this for Zeke.
Zeke, you need to stop baking. Think about all these legacy players, Zeke. Get in the zone and be on a roll, man.
Get your head in the game.
Get your head in the game. My favorite is the thunderclap, and they all clap.
Yeah, they can go through all these guys' nicknames, and apparently they all know all the lore.
Slam and Jam, whatever guy. Yeah, they're talking about all these legacy players, and he's like, do you think any of these legends were in the musical? Get your head in the game. No. All the like players said, get your head in the game. It's very organized. Almost like a musical is organized with lines and choreography. Remember when they clapped?
So true.
So true. Anyway, they're like, no. And like, who's gonna lose if Troy can't get his shit together? And they're like, we are. They like have this whole back and forth chant, like, who's our leader? Troy. Who's gonna lose? We are. Us.
We're sad about it.
And they say Troy was the first sophomore ever to make varsity. We need you, man. And also, let's not forget about one more important member of our team that you can't let down, your dad.
Don't forget about your dad.
You know you did. Because he played basketball in high school and now he's the coach and your father. Now to the Gabriella side of the plan. Taylor and all the nerds talk to Gabriella about how she's better than Lunkhead Basketball Man, which is Troy. And they say,
I love Lunkhead Basketball Man. What an insult. Taylor's got her game.
Troy Bolton is on one side of evolution, but this side is where you belong. Okay, but back to Troy. Troy, this is where he goes on. He's like, guys, you know I'm going to give it my all. It's thought we were friends. Win together, lose together. I'm in this. And then Chad goes, what about the girl? And pulls out the camera.
It's a very awkward pull out of a webcam. But these are not when you had like your laptops with inbuilt cameras. Nope. This is a very clear camera.
He might as well have a camcorder in his hand.
It might as well be Ashton Kutcher on Punk'd.
But what about the girl? Troy is like, well, she's just a girl. And the singing thing, it's nothing. It means nothing. You're my guys, and this is my team. I will drop singing, and I will drop Gabriella, and forget about it, okay? Gabriella is watching him say all of this. Oof. Like, their timing is perfect. It's because Chad is like turned off.
It also could have been a recording.
No, I think it's live.
It is live. But it's like, live it could have been.
Then she looks out the window and they go out. It happened just now. It's a live stream. Gabriella watches him say all this and starts crying because, yeah, that's freaking heartbreaking. Troy literally said, I will drop Gabriella and the singing thing. Yikes. It's stupid and I don't care about it.
Also, they've only known each other for 10 days, but also, yikes.
But they've been like bonding so much over this. And it's like, imagine you hear the guy you like say, like, I will forget about the girl. She's just a girl.
Here's my defense of Troy, because I think he deserves it. And this movie's well written, and I think gives a really realistic impact of this. Troy's 100% lying here. He is telling the boys what they want to hear so that they can drop it and he can continue on with the singing stuff behind their backs.
Yeah, but he said some really mean stuff.
Yes, but he didn't mean it at all. He was being recorded without his consent.
That's true, but he never should have said it in the first place.
That's where I'm like, this is well written. The defense is he didn't mean it. He was saying it to get out of a situation that was being rude to him.
But it's good that, like, even Gabriella is told that, like, Chad goaded him into saying it. She's like, he still said it.
Yep.
Like, and that's true. Like, she doesn't need to forgive him right away for it because what he said was mean and hurtful. And yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay. So Gabriella watches Troy say this and starts crying. And Taylor immediately does not skip a beat, goes, so Gabriella, we would love to have you on the team. Want to get lunch?
Taylor is hard pressed and just all we care about is this. I don't care about your emotional feelings. All I want is you on the team.
You made a good point that when they are like giving Gabriella this whole presentation, she is not on their team yet. No. They're just fully trying to recruit her for their team.
Yeah. Which is so shitty.
It's so shitty. Like, here, Gabriella.
It's a move a real jerk would do.
Here, Gabriella, watch the boy you like talk about how stupid you are and the activity you're doing together is stupid. So do you want to be on our team? You want to get lunch right now? And Gabriella's just like shakes her head no. And she's like, okay, well, we're all going to lunch. If
Bye.
you
We're
want to join
gonna leave you
us.
heartbroken.
Bye. And Gabriella's like, okay, bye. And then Gabriella looks out the window, and there is just a whole celebration going on. They're like lifting Troy up
It's
on
like
their
a pep
shoulders.
rally or something.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
insane.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane that Troy says, I'll give up the stupid girl. And they're all like, yes, Troy, you're our man. Gabriella looks out the window, turns around. It's time for her song. Wait. Hold on. Gabriella looks out the window and a kazoo pops up.
Out of the window?
No.
Okay.
She holds up a kazoo.
She was holding it the whole movie.
She pulled it out of her pocket that she's had in her pocket.
She also grabs a squeaky ball.
That's enough.
I was not expecting that to be the kazoo song.
You always say that. You're like, I didn't expect that to be the kazoo song.
Well, no, I was thinking this one could easily be we're all this together, where they're like doing a group kazoo number.
That'd be pretty fun. Maybe I grab it back. Okay. In actuality, she goes, it's funny when you find yourself. And people have pointed this out. But we have to bring it up.
It's so good.
It's so obvious that it's like different recordings. It might even be a different person. It's probably not, but it's like
they've never said it was a different person.
Her lower register and her higher register, I guess she couldn't do it interchangeably. It's like
it's
funny when you find yourself looking from the outside.
They Frankenstein it together.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's very funny. Because just when you're listening to it, you can just hold, like, mark on your fingers, okay, is this audio track A, B, or C? And it's really easy to tell.
Yeah. This song is so good. It's a moment. Gabriella always has to have her moment.
Every High School Musical, we'll talk about this more in the sequels, I think. They always have their Troy.
What's going on in my head?
Song.
Yeah.
They got the Gabriella.
I'm leaving.
I'm sad.
I'm sad and I'm leaving song.
And then that's like the main stuff.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And then the end song of like, we're all friends. Okay. So I loved this scene as a kid. Like, I wanted to be her. She is walking through the empty halls and like the little choreography moments where she like points to the sky and twirls around. Like, it's awesome. The best part is definitely when she goes up to this giant banner that has Troy and the other starters like
not a normal size poster. It's like huge. Floor to wall.
She is leaning against this poster, and it is his whole face.
Ceiling. It's the entire thing. It's a giant Troy face.
It's absolutely incredible. This school is obsessed with Troy and basketball.
I mean, you were too.
So was I, yeah. But like, she gets to lean and like kind of be against his whole face for the song. It's amazing. Because she liked the view when there was me and you.
Snaps all around.
Snaps all around. All right, end of song. It's end of pre-period or whatever it was. Maybe it was lunchtime. Gabriella goes to her locker, and Troy just like, he's on top of the world right now, right? He just had his whole celebration, and he comes over and he's like, "Hey, Gabriella,
I want to talk to you.
I want to talk to you.
Best of friends.
There's something I want to talk to you about." And Gabriella says, "Here it is. I know what it's like to carry a load with your friends. You have your boys, Troy. It's okay. We're good." And he's like, "What? I was going to talk to you about the callbacks." And Gabriella's like,
I just want to do it.
I was like, "I don't want to do them either. You have your team, and now I have mine. It's where we belong. Go Wildcats." And she hands him the sheet music. And
The one
Troy's,
that she drew a little heart on before.
oh my god, she drew a little heart by breaking free. Troy says, but and Gabriella says, me neither.
We have talked because we didn't really think about this line very much before.
What did she think he was gonna say?
If you know, please email us. Please leave a comment. We want to know.
But me neither. And then she walked away.
What? Is it? But
me neither. Like, if there's a pause.
Yeah.
There is. And then she walks away and he goes, Gabriella? Second time he said Gabriella while being alone after she walked away.
It won't be the last.
Okay. Now it's like outdoor sports time. I'm guessing it's gym class.
Yeah.
Who knows? The team's like gesturing over, like, Troy, play basketball with us, but he's too sad and he goes for a run instead. And at home, Troy tries to shoot baskets
on his at-home basketball court,
but he's too frustrated.
It is something that's very funny and it sticks through the series. Whenever Troy is like not in a good mental space,
he sucks.
The clearest evidence is he's bad at basketball. He can't hit a layup.
He's like, like he's he can't shoot a basket. He's so frustrated. And his dad is watching him, and he knows he's bad at basketball now. And then we get a shot of Gabriella on her balcony, all sad. She has a balcony connected to her room.
These people are rich. This is a rich public school.
Yeah. Yeah, Troy and Gabriella like kind of bump into each other at lunch, but they don't say anything, and it's really awkward. And Gabriella goes and eats lunch by herself, or at least not with Taylor. And Troy also leaves to go eat lunch by himself, and they're just really sad. And Taylor and Chad go up to each other, and they're like, "We fucked up." They're so sad now.
I think this would go well.
They thought they would just be hunky-dory. Gabriella wouldn't have her heart broken, and Troy wouldn't have his heart broken, and they would be fine. And it just didn't happen like
this
that.
Relationship may mean something.
What?
Impossible.
We made them sad by like ripping their hearts out? All right. Chad and the boys go find Troy on the roof, which is a super secret spot that they all know about. Chad says, we just had another team meeting.
I'm so worried this ball is getting picked up.
I'm just gonna put it in here. If you hear squeaking from a ball, it's our dog. We're sorry. She has a mood right now. She's in a mood and we can't play with her right now because we're recording a podcast, and she's just squeaking her ball and she keeps trying to get me to throw it. Chad says, we had another team meeting. I mean, this us without you, because we haven't been acting like a team. I mean, us, not you. I swear the dialogue is not that clunky. If you want to sing, we're going to be there for you, cheering you on while you sing. If that's something you want to do, we shouldn't be tearing you down. We should be cheering you on.
We should be tearing you on.
Because this is something you want to do, and we should cheer you on. Win or lose, we're teammates. And Troy's like, well...
T-E-A-M, team.
It's so true. Troy's like, well, it's not even going to happen because Gabriella won't talk to me, and I don't know why. And Chad's like, we know why. And Zeke is like, here.
Before you hear this, taste this cookie.
Here's some cookies.
It's wonderful.
I baked these fresh today. You're going to want to eat these before we tell you the rest.
It's so like bold for him to just say, you're going to need this for emotional support before you hear it.
My cookies are so good. All right. Taylor goes to Gabriella with the nerds behind her, by the way. None of the nerds have names except Taylor.
Yeah. That's true for like the rest of the series except for Martha. Who's not even really a part of the nerds in this one.
Martha was in a different nerd group, and she fully drops the nerd thing in the next two movies. She just becomes a dancer.
She finds a new status quo.
All right, so Taylor goes to Gabriella, and she says, Gabriella, we were jerks. No, we were worse than that, because we were mean jerks.
We love this line.
It's so funny. We were
worse than jerks. We were mean jerks. As in being a jerk and being mean is like exclusive at all.
You know she rehearsed this speech. She's like, we were jerks. No, It was worse than that. What's worse than a jerk? A mean jerk.
For being so smart, she was so good with burns earlier. She couldn't figure out a burn on herself.
She said, we thought Troy and the singing thing was stopping you from being on our team. And Gabriella's like, I heard what he had to say, okay? I'm on your team now, it's done. And Taylor's like, no.
We manipulated you to be on our team.
We manipulated you. It's not that simple, okay? We knew Chad could get him to say that stuff, so we planned the whole thing. And Gabriella, so valid, says, no one forced Troy to say anything. Yep. Okay, he's his own person. It's fine. It's time to move on. And Taylor says, no. How you feel about us, and more importantly, how you feel about Troy is what really matters. And Gabriella just isn't having it. And Taylor's like, we tried.
She should try harder.
She literally tried with everyone.
We were mean jerks. All right, we did all we could.
Tried. We did it. We tried to tell her that Troy's a nice guy. All right, so that night, Troy goes over to Gabriella's house, and her mom answers the door, and Gabriella, like, kind of makes her mom shoo him away. So she's like, sorry, man. She doesn't want to see you. But then Troy sneaks around to the backyard and calls Gabriella. So it turns out he can just call her on the phone. Mm-hmm. And she actually picks up.
Which
I'm surprised.
Wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So she does want to talk to him.
But I guess she knew he like went by, but I still feel like that'd be something you leave to voicemail.
Yeah. She answers and she goes like, hello. And he immediately starts spewing like, hey, like, I didn't mean what I said. Like, he doesn't waste any time, which is good because he knows that she could hang up on him at any point. He's like, hey, I was just sick of my friends writing him, so I said things I didn't mean to get them off my back. And Gabriella's like, it sounded pretty convincing to me. And she turns her light on, so he knows what bedroom is hers. Which actually he's just presuming that. What if it was the mom? And he ends up on the mom's balcony.
That would be
and he has to like climb back to
maybe in one of their like previous bonding sessions they gave a full blueprint of her house.
Yeah, that must be it. Okay, Gabriella says everyone is treating you different because of this anyway. Like maybe it's just not worth it. And Troy's like, no, it is worth it. Like it's something I care about. And I didn't let my team down. They let me down. The only thing that matters is how I feel. So I'm going to sing. What about you? And she's like, I don't know, Troy. And he's like, you need to say yes because I brought you something. Turn around.
It's me.
And then he sings a little reprise, the start of something new. And this is done live. You can tell. It's not like a studio recording.
Hey, look, it's Zac Efron singing.
Yay. This could be the start. Maybe this is where you should have had a kazoo. Damn it. This would have been better.
You can add it now.
He plays the kazoo for her. And she forgives him. He holds up the sheet music and goes, it's a pair audition. And then she takes the sheet music and is like, okay, let's do it. All right, so now it's time for basketball. Troy is back, baby.
And he's sick as ever.
He's on top of the world. And Gabriella does some math, and she's really good.
Wow, and she's like on the team now. What a win for Taylor in this whole situation. She had none of the real consequences.
So true. Troy can balance basketball and singing, and Gabriella can balance science and singing, and they run a rehearsal together in the hall. And singing. And they run in the hallway, and it's really cute. And then they go practice, and they're singing Breaking Free with Kelsey playing on piano. And from the hallway, Ryan and Sharpay hear them. Remember Ryan and Sharpay? They're back.
Oh, yeah. I forgot their characters existed.
They were going to do something, and then they didn't. But now they're going to do something.
And they will.
Ryan and Sharpay hear Troy and Gabriella singing from the hallway, and they're like, damn, they sound good.
Yeah, they're back in the movie again, and they are just like, okay, we said we were going to do something, but that was back when we thought that Chad and Taylor weren't being nice because that was our assumption.
Yeah.
Now they're like, wow, they're mingling and being friendly.
We gotta do something.
But then they found out they were like just sabotaging, maybe in their reconnaissance.
But they saw Troy and
Gabriella
Gabriella sad because
break
it's
up.
literally like the next day. So they're like, oh, problem solved.
Easy. Done.
Done. But now they're back. Oh no, and they sound good. Sharpay says we gotta do something. Well, the callback is on Thursday, but the basketball game in the Scholastic Decathlon is on Friday. Too bad it's not the same day at the same time.
Yeah, Ryan's just like, man, that would be so convenient for us. And Sharpay's like, let's just make it happen.
Let's do it. And he goes, I'm proud to call you my sister. She goes, I know. And then she leaves. And Sharpay and Ryan convinced Darbus to change the callback to Friday. And Miss Darbus is like, you guys are the captains of the drama club. And if you say this is what's best for the club, I guess I'll believe you. And Kelsey is listening from behind the piano. So, they changed the date. The next day, Kelsey is staring at the callback announcement. And it says that callbacks are moved to Friday. Troy, Gabriella, literally everybody.
Literally
shows
all
up.
of the good guys.
They all show up together because they're all friends now.
They really immediately all became a friend group of one.
100%.
Yeah.
They show up and like, hey, Kelsey, what's up? And they look at the announcement and they're like, oh my gosh, it's all at the same time. This is Darbus's fault. And Kelsey's like, no, it's not.
It's a different rat. Two of them.
It's Ryan and Sharpay's fault. And Chad is like ready to throw hands. He's like, you messing with my boy?
And doesn't he say, explain yourself, short person?
No, he's like, what? Because she goes, I think it's two rats and none of them named Darbus. And he's like, what do you mean? Small person?
Like he had to comment on her height.
She's short. It's funny. And he's like, who are you? Like, I've literally never met you.
We've literally never talked. I don't know your name. Yeah. I'm not being mean. I just need to make sure it's you who understands I'm talking to.
Yeah. But Chad is like, you messing with my boy? You messing with my boy when he wants to sing a song? Let's fucking fight. And Troy's like, no, we're not going to do anything except sing, maybe. But we gotta work together. And they all put their hands in because Troy just immediately came up with a plan that does work. I'm surprised Troy just thought of this.
Yeah, I remember Troy's also could be in the Brainiacs, but he doesn't have it as a passion.
So
Troy's
true.
literally perfect.
He is. He really is.
He could go to college for both basketball and the arts. He can do both. So now this is our final text on screen. It says, game day, callback day, Scholastic Decathlon day, help! Yeah.
Help is in all caps.
Pretty wild.
It's pretty funny. The basketball boys come in and it's like they give the nerd girls a quote pie. It's shaped like the symbol pi.
Yeah.
And Zeke's like, it's a pie, even though it's clearly a cake.
Whatever. It looks yummy.
And then the girls are like, we have something for you too.
Here's an equation of how to play basketball.
Just kidding. It's a board that says go Wildcats. And we also have these foam basketballs to throw at you. And they're friends. They're supportive of each other. And then they're like, hey, Miss Darbus and Ryan and Sharpay, we have a present for you too. And all the basketball boys, one at a time, open up their shirts and they spell out like GODR. They spell Go Drama Club, and Troy ends it with exclamation point, which is really cute. So they're just like super supportive of everyone now. Everybody gets along and it's awesome. Even though Ryan and Sharpay are trying to actively sabotage Troy and Gabriella.
Yeah, they haven't gotten their redemption yet. Do they?
Do they ever get it? Ryan does.
Ryan does it in full. Sharpay
Yeah.
does not.
Ryan was never the villain here. All right. So now it's the end of the school day and it's time for the big game and all the other stuff. Coach goes and finds Troy in the locker room. And he's like, Troy, you know what I want for you today? And Troy's like, a championship? And he's like, no, I want you to have fun.
I'm a good dad now. I saw you miss some shots and I realized I was being too hard.
I realized you're only good when I'm supportive of you. He's like, maybe I put too much pressure on you, but I just want you to have the time of your life no matter what the score is. Okay? As long as you're happy, I'll be happy. You're my son, and I love you. Okay, the end. Their relationship is mended now. The decathlon is also starting, which is also against West High.
Yes, I think they took the same bus.
What? You mean the basketball jocks and the nerds sharing a space?
Yeah, West Side doesn't have these status quos and like social clique problems that only seem to plague East High.
For years, they've been coming over to East High. Like, what's your guys' fucking problem? Like, we actively hang out with our scholastic decathlon friends.
We're all like,
You guys are just figuring this out, and you sing songs about it. You guys are weird.
they can see the whole musical being performed. Like they're completely been
And in the third movie, when they go like West High Nights, hey, it's East High doing that part too. Like, you guys wrote a part for us.
So nice.
Anyway. Everything's like starting to happen, right? The game is starting up, the decathlon, Ryan and Sharpay are warming up, and they do their iconic ma.
Boy.
And then they trust fall. And Sharpay turns around and puts her hands on Ryan's shoulder and goes, I trust you. And he goes, energy. Like, it's iconic.
It's so extra. It's great.
It's so funny. Okay. So then Ryan and Sharpay start up to the top.
Yeah, we're gonna
Mucho
bop, bop, bop.
gusto. Wiki fabulosa.
This hit more as a kid than it did as an adult.
Yeah, as an adult, it's
just fine.
Less cool. As a kid, I feel like Sharpay was way more iconic to me than she is now.
I think it's also just, as a kid, you haven't seen that type of performance written for a kid without it being just done poorly, where it's either she's super hateable or like not a good villain. Whereas I just feel like as an adult, there's been so many Regina George attempts.
Yeah.
This is a Regina George attempt. There's no question about it.
Yeah. Except she's a theater kid.
Yeah. So it's just like, this is a good attempt, but there's better attempts out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like we as adults can be like, okay, yeah, they're doing something here, but there's others that have been good attempts too.
Show some muscle. Do the hustle.
Shake your booty and turn around.
The game also starts. Gabriella does her science problem like super fast. Yeah. And it's unclear if this is the end of the competition. I always thought it was, because don't they say East High wins?
It could have been for a single round.
Yeah.
They do say they win.
Yeah, and later we know they win. So either this was the whole competition and it's over in like 2 minutes, or it was one round and then they pause just like the basketball game does and they come back later. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. After that, isn't like there's a break and they go on their computer and they hack the scoreboard.
Yeah, which they shouldn't be able to do. I feel like the system should not work the way that it shows here, but whatever. They just go creative liberty.
Boop, boop, boop on the computer and the scoreboard gets all fucked up and the lights in the gym gets all fucked up. And Troy has time to leave. And there's a moment where he's like looking up, like smiling, like, oh my gosh, they did it. And Chad taps him like, dude, leave. Like, go, you're gonna be late. And then the nerds, there's like some gas in a beaker and it's like stinky or something, so everybody leaves the room there too. So it's unclear if they needed to do that so everyone would leave this competition and pause, or if they just did it for fun to get everyone out. I don't know. Who knows? The principal then tells everyone in the gym that for safety they should all leave the auditorium, and there's this shot of the whole basketball team like, oh, okay, and they like speed walk away because they want to see Troy sing. It's really cute. And then Bop to the Top ends, and they climb their golden ladder with the
ladder
ball.
Was so iconic.
It really was, with the disco ball.
Yeah,
and she bops Ryan down one because she has to be on top. Yeah, it's iconic. All right, so then Darbus goes, all right, up next, Troy and Gabriella.
I feel like Sharpay and Ryan should have made Troy and Gabriella go first.
That's true. I mean, they're just banking on them not being able to show up at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Troy and Gabriella, are you here? She gives them literally 30 seconds to show up and then is like, too bad. Like, come on.
Okay.
Sharpay and Ryan got to like get ready backstage for a while.
I get that point, but also I'm gonna say this. Number one, this whole like thing is dumb when Darvis knows that both of them are busy. And she's like, oh, well, we gotta see that they're dedicated. Both of these events that they're busy with, this is like the last event.
It's
With the
literally the
basketball, there's
championship.
probably like a week more if they win. But like, it's near the end.
Yeah. It's honestly so rude. Like, what, you think they're not gonna be committed
But she's
enough?
under the thumb of Sharpay.
I know.
So
Anyway, she's like,
Troy and Gabriella are disqualified.
Troy and Gabriella, are you here? And Kelsey runs up and she goes, they'll be here. And Darva says, the theater waits for no one. And Kelsey runs away.
She sprints off the stage.
And they go, well, we're done here. And then Troy and Gabriella go, no, we're here. We're here, Miss Darvis. And Darvis goes, I called your names twice. Literally in the span of 10 seconds. Like, it's so rude. They're less than a minute late.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And they're like, please, Miss Darvis, please let us sing. And she's like, no. And then fucking everyone pours
all the
into the
decathlon
theater.
people,
All the basketball people.
A bunch of people in berets that we get no knowledge about.
There's some random people in like East High shirts that have red berets. Who are they? I want to know their club.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing out on like some extended scenes there. Are they the East High Beret Club?
And Darvis is like, oh, well, there's a whole crowd here. Like, for Ryan and Sharpay, there was barely anybody there.
It's not an open callback, I don't think.
It is, though, because anybody can show. Like, Ryan and Sharpay did have a small audience. Mm-hmm. Just, it wasn't nearly this big. Darvis is like, oh, well, it's far too late, and we don't have a pianist. And Troy's like, we'll sing without one. And Kelsey runs in and is like,
she sprints right back on. So there was no reason for her. Like why did they write this?
Why did they write that in? So people were like, what was Kelsey doing? So this is what I think happened is
she had to go to the bathroom real bad.
She like tells Miss Darvis they'll be here. And Miss Darvis says no. So Kelsey runs away because she's so disappointed. And then she heard everybody come in. She heard Troy and Gabriella go, Miss Darvis, please. She turns around like, oh, and sprints.
This is a full-on sprint in both directions. She's not out of breath at all.
So during this whole little bit of them begging Miss Darvis to do it, Kelsey was in a full sprint in one direction and then a full sprint all the way back.
But yeah, she has great stamina.
So much. And her outfit is so cute, by the way. She's like in her little professional like penis outfit with the top hat. Like, it's so cute. And at one point, Sharpay's like, we'd be happy to do the number again, Miss Darvis, for this whole crowd. But like, no, Sharpay, they're not here for you. Anyway, Kelsey says, no, you won't. I'll play piano. And Sharpay looks at Kelsey and says, you really don't want to do this. And Kelsey says, oh, yes, I really do. That's why they put it in, so that Kelsey could have a fuck you, Sharpay moment. Yeah. And Miss Darvis goes, now that's showbiz. Miss Darvis just loves it for the drama. She's like, all right, well, we have this whole crowd here. That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, even if they suck, you have this whole crowd now that are expecting Troy and Gabriella to perform.
What, are you going to not let them do it? You'll have a riot on your hand. Chad will, like, punch Miss Darvis in the face.
Yeah. I feel like they do not understand the power of this crowd and how into the performance they are going to be.
All right, so now the theater is totally packed. Gabriella has stage fright. And the song starts playing, but Gabriella looks really scared. So Troy like has Kelsey stop, and he goes over to her, and she says, I can't do it, Troy. Now with all these people staring at me. And Troy's like, hey, look at me. Remember the first time we sang together? Like kindergarten.
Oh my god, the callback.
Oh my god.
Call him crazy callback guy.
Okay. So then they start again. And this time the lights go down and the whole production starts. So like, I don't know what they were doing the first time. They were just rushing into it. Now they're actually ready. And the lights go down. And it starts breaking free. It's funny when Just kidding. We're soaring, flying.
We're not sure why they act like the first line's Gabriella.
Lit- always was confused as a kid of why he's like looking over at Gabriella like she's supposed to sing, and then she gets stage fright and they stop when Troy fully has the first line, unless it was supposed to be her and he just took it so to make her feel better. He grabs her hand and they hold hands, except creating space between us. They have to
Stretching out.
They have to let go of their hands because they're creating space between them. We're breaking free. We're soaring. This song is so good.
Yeah,
this is my favorite DCOM
This is
song.
the biggest High School Musical song. This is the biggest DCOM song ever by like all metrics.
And it's my favorite. I think it's the best.
It's genuinely really good. It's really nice that I believe in my rankings, I would have this as third.
How dare you?
Behind two Lemonade Mouth ones.
Yeah, Lemonade Mouth is banger after banger.
Yeah.
But this
song's great. I got no real complaints.
Kelsey did such a good job.
She wrote some bombs.
Yeah, for real. They're singing it. The whole crowd gets into it. They're clapping along. I love it. Troy has this moment. Can you feel the building? Wait, no, the ocean. And he does the wave thing. And then Gabriella shows up and she took her coat off and she's wearing like a skirt now. And they're grooving into it. And then the moon comes down, the moon
big old giant moon
that they were working on. Hell yeah. And I love it when they go over to Kelsey because they've like been rehearsing with Kelsey this whole time. More than hope, more than faith, this is true, this faith. The song's so good. And then Troy's dad comes in the back and sees him singing.
And he realizes, wow, he can sing.
We never had like any moment after that of him being like, whoa, you can sing. But we had a moment with them earlier, so it's okay. Also, Gabriella's mom is here too.
Why?
Remember her? No, Gabriella's got to have a support system too. And they do it and it's amazing. In the middle of it, Miss Darvis like throws her clipboard to start clapping.
Just jam out. Yeah, the whole crowd's like clapping along.
They're like dancing.
Which is not what you're supposed to do in any sort of audition.
They're dancing in the aisles, let me tell you.
This is not theater etiquette. My favorite part of this, I'm going to say two moments. One auditorial, one visual.
Okay.
Auditorial, it's just never knew that it could happen till it happened to me.
That was in Start of Something New.
Wait, shit, yeah. My brain just got those wires.
You're right, that part was good and Start of Something New, though.
My brain's got completely wires crossed there.
Okay.
It is great, though, that part.
Start of Something New is good. All right, back to Breaking Free.
The visual part of Breaking Free that I really like.
Uh-huh.
And I only noticed it this much.
Okay.
Is they go like around the moon, and you just see Sharpay and Ryan in the background with their arms crossed, disappointed because they know they're losing.
Second, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Like, but you see them just looking mad. So funny.
And you rewind to see it because like, that was funny.
I love when he's like twirling around her and she twirls around. Like, it's so good. And the crowd goes wild. If I was Miss Darvis, even if they were worse than Sharpay and Ryan, you have to cast them with like how wild the crowd is going.
No, that's what I'm saying. For just the marketing opportunities alone.
You have to cast.
It's impossible. And that's why it's really unfair to Sharpay and Ryan.
Yeah. It became a popularity contest. Even though, like, I do think Troy and Gabriella were better.
Yeah, but it's like pretty dumb. But then again, this all only happened because Sharpay and Ryan moved the audition. So kind of like
that's true.
Their own bullet there.
That's true. It probably wouldn't have been as big of a crowd. Like the basketball team probably would have been there, and like probably Taylor to watch, but it wouldn't have been literally every single person that was in the gymnasium. I bet there are so many people that are like, what's going on? Why is everybody okay? Let's just go. Like we're kicked out of the gymnasium anyway. Let's go to the auditorium. And they watch this bomb ass performance.
At the end of the performance, when it's just like the music fading out, and it just it gets back to like the beginning.
In a way that's different than who we are.
It's a good song.
It's so good. And then he kisses her on the cheek. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Is this when Kelsey does her dumb point, and then it like transitions to the buzzer into the basketball
I
game.
think so.
I think so. It's so stupid. That's like the cringiest part of the movie. Okay, back to basketball. They win on a buzzer beater. Like Troy makes the winning basket. And woo,
Whoa.
they did it. They won the championship. What team? Wildcats. That's right.
They got their head in the game.
Now it's time for the ending sequence. This is all like
It's a one-shot.
one continuous shot. It's really fun. It's a cool way to end the movie.
We always are sucker for one shots.
Because it's impressive. I bet they had to do that a lot of times to get it right. Miss Darbus is like, bravo, bravo on the basketball.
The coach is like, yeah,
we did it. Gabby shows up in her bomb ass red dress. Like she changed her clothes.
Like we won too.
Yeah, we won too. Unclear
if it happened.
And because you're like, why wasn't she watching the
basketball game ended like when it got paused based on everything that was happening. It got paused with the score was 8-8, I believe. The ending score of the basketball game was 67-66.
So it got paused so
early.
Which you made a good point. Like everything was happening at like 3:30 or something. That's pretty early for a whole basketball team to bus over to East High. Although it's West High and East High, how far away are they really?
We know that it's Friday. Like it's not like a weekend where that would be a normal day. It's explicitly a Friday.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay. She's like, yeah, we won too. Good job. And then they almost kiss. This is the closest they are to kissing. Like Troy kind of grabs her.
They're about to kiss.
Chad comes in and interrupts it.
And they don't kiss this movie.
They don't. It's because in DCOMs, if you're gonna have more than one movie, you can't kiss in the first one. It's a rule.
It is a rule. It's weird.
Yeah. Chad asks Taylor out on a date. And she's excited about it. She goes to Gabby like, oh my God, Chad just asked me out. Sharpay comes over and she's like, congratulations, Gabby. Guess I'm going to be your understudy. So break a leg. In theater, that means good luck. So like Sharpay, this is her quote unquote redemption.
Yeah.
She's like, I get there's not enough time for me to have a full redemption. Guess I'm kind of nice now.
Especially because she's still mean to Zeke and like a little bit later.
Literally, Zeke comes over. He's like, hey, Sharpay, here's some cookies. And she's like, ew. And then Ryan takes them. He's like, thanks. Troy gives Kelsey the game ball. He's like,
she's the playmaker.
Here you go, playmaker.
What's weird is they never make the pun that's literally in the name.
What?
She's making a play.
Oh my God.
She's literally a playmaker. She's
literally making plays.
But they leave it unsaid, and the whole movie I'm waiting for it because he calls her playmaker multiple times.
How would you want that scene to go down? Hey,
I guess
Kelsey.
you could say, I'm making a play, couldn't you? Oh, I get it, because you're writing the musical. That's clever. That's a good joke. Thank you.
This is why you didn't write High School Musical.
I think it was mainly because I was 6 when it came out.
There are some movies that we would have written better.
You can't write High School Musical these days.
For example, Halloween Town 2. We would have done a much better job than they did. High School Musical, it's perfection. You can't change it.
You can't write High School Musical these days. If you did and you pitched a script, people would be like, this is High School Musical.
This is High School Musical.
we can't make this. We don't have the rights.
Yeah. Anyway, Kelsey has the game ball and they all just kind of leave her alone for a minute. And she's like, what am I supposed to do with this basketball? But then Jason comes over. Remember Jason?
You shouldn't.
And he's like, here, take off your hat. Shoot the basketball.
How do they try to like theoretically set those two up?
But they don't.
They don't.
They might be paired up in like the second movie for the musical numbers, though. I don't know. We'll have to see when we watch High School Musical 2. Like,
again, Jason is someone who just so technically exists in this movie.
Yeah, he's later turned into like the stupid one.
He's like, just if you have another person that needs a line that is not relevant to the plot, he's the person who has it, and that's it. He does not have a character. It's
just like giving a little bit like, take off the hat, let your hair down. Now you're pretty. Yeah. Like just a little bit.
And they dressing like a lesbian.
Stop looking like a lesbian. We need to stop queer coding this movie. And then they shoot the basket, and that's the end of the one shot. And it goes into together, 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 everyone together.
Yeah, we get the whole
together,
we're all in this together ending song.
Yeah.
Which great ending.
It really
works
is.
really well in the
It
movie.
does.
The song itself is not great.
If you listen to the song on its own, it's kind of boring.
It's boring, it's repetitive, and
Yeah.
the dance is not that good because it was really,
It's
really
iconic.
designed to be learned.
It's iconic. All in this together. And they do the little arm pumps. And I love the beginning where like Troy and Gabriella have their little verses and they're like walking through the crowd and like doing little dances. It's really fun. And then we get Ryan gets his moment with his little like hip thrust snaps, and then he jumps and he becomes a tower for Sharpay to walk through. It's amazing. And then I like when it's the little like breakdown part where it's little like pairs dancing and Chad and Taylor get to have a little dance break. I thought that was really cute. And then we get to like the final, we're all in this together. I think I've always thought that this was weird that Gabriella has ad-lib moments. Like she doesn't sing the chorus.
No.
She goes together. Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm okay with someone doing it, but maybe not your female lead.
Fact that it's literally after every single line. Like if you had the occasional together or whatever, it's literally though she is not singing, and every time there's a break.
Give that to like
words.
Chad. That seems like a Chad.
Well, yeah, like it's weird. It's too much. Together, boom. And then it ends, and the credits start to roll, and they're like still dancing around, and Miss Darbus dances with the mascot, and they start a conga line.
Yeah,
like
they play through the credits,
which is so cool because that like never happens in a DCOM where the credits start and it's like the same scene continuing. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is so good, and then we get a post-credit scene.
Rare, like, but not.
When does that happen? It's Zeke is alone in the gym after the whole party. There's like a bunch of balloons on the floor, and Sharpay busts in. It's like, these are the best cookies I've ever had. Will you make more for me? And she runs through all of the balloons and goes and hugs him.
Yeah, she could easily run around the balloons, but she takes the most direct path, and he's a little like
all these balloons.
perturbed.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And he's like, maybe I'll make some creme brulee. And then it ends.
And that's one character trait. It's creme brulee.
And that's High School Musical.
So what do you think about the movie?
I freaking love this movie so much.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It is so much fun. I have nostalgia for it. And as an adult, I love it. The music is so good. The choreography, the story is like simple but effective. And it was a cultural moment. I have it ranked fourth.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about
Our
it.
Jane House ranking of it overall was 7th.
7.
And
yeah.
my personal ranking, and just looking at this feels like I'm hating on it. But I put it at 15. And if you just think about it, 15
You're a hater. You're a hater.
15's still really high.
I can't believe you don't like High School Musical. You should have it top 10. I can't believe you don't have it top 10.
I think it might move up, especially with how we're going to be ranking this. But with how I had the list before, I really wanted to make sure I wasn't being nostalgia biased.
Yeah.
And there's some aspects of this movie, it doesn't have the heights that some of the other ones in my top 10 do, which is really the only issue. I have no problems with this movie.
No, this movie is amazing.
It's just, it could have other stuff in it that, like, gets it to a higher level, but it doesn't, and I don't even have any explicit, like, requests or changes other than the couple nitpicks that I had. So, I feel like 15's being a hater. But I feel like you're a hater. The top of my DCOM list are films that I really, really like. We've covered a couple of those that are high up there. Teen Beach Movie, Lemonade Mouth are both in my top.
Can of Worms.
Yeah. And all of them have something slightly more to them that I like.
Yeah.
Lemonade Mouth is pretty comparable, but I think I just like the story of Lemonade Mouth a bit more than the generic. High School Musical is one of the DCOM plots. Like
Yeah.
there were the plot of High School Musical has been done before, which was I have multiple interests, but my new interests and my old interests are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's been done so much, and I feel like something like Lemonade Mouth does a little better. I don't know, but it's really just fighting for like the best of the best. It's not worth fighting over. Where I just love these movies. What can I say?
They're incredible.
This is why we do this podcast, is so we can talk about stuff like this.
High School Musical is the gateway DCOM. Like,
it's the one. If you're gonna watch any DCOM, it should be High School Musical.
It should. It's
just for cultural relevance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. We can't sing its praises enough. Okay. What
that
a
was
way.
A long episode.
Long episode. Thank you for sticking around. We know this is a big one. Can't wait to cover the next ones.
Yes. Hopefully not next week. Just give us some time off. But
what a way actually to end this round of 10 movies. This is episode 40.
Oh, it is.
It is.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. So next week we're doing a mini-sode where we're going over the last 10 movies. We had some real high highs and real low lows. Crazy. And we're gonna fit them in our overall ranking, and we'll also do something else. Haven't decided what that is yet.
If you have anything you want us to talk about with that mini-sode or with High School Musical or any other Disney Channel original movie or anything else in general, email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com. We recently started uploading some more YouTube shorts again, so you can check that out on our YouTube page.
They're just our TikToks.
Those are just our TikToks, but cut down to the YouTube shorts. Yeah. So
I'm trying to upload TikToks again. I'm like wildly inconsistent with it, but I'm working on it. So eventually one will come out for High School Musical. It's going to take a while though.
Yeah, it will come out eventually.
Yeah.
And
thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It is fun to be able to talk about this, and we appreciate anyone who listens to any amount, any part of it.
Yeah.
We would do this without you, but it's much more fun to have you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's time to spin the wheel for our next DCOM. What do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to look in the bad category because...
We just had bad ones, though.
We had some bad ones. Okay.
But then we had one of the best ones in High School Musical.
Alright, I found a real bad one for us to say. 9.
Shut up. I love Cloud 9. How dare you? I'm gonna say The Color of Friendship.
Okay.
I don't know.
Be a bit of a tonal shift.
Yeah. Alright, spinning the wheel. It almost landed on Minutemen, but then it didn't. It landed on Now You See It.
Okay.
I don't
you know what? I feel like we're gonna like it better on a rewatch. It's a weird movie.
It's really weird concept that maybe I will be more into it on a rewatch.
It's one, yeah. It's one where I feel like it's way more fun to talk about than it is to watch.
Probably.
So we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We just got High School Musical. We don't get to complain.
That's true.
Like High School Musical, we were begging for that. And we could have much worse movies than Now You See It.
Yeah.
All right. So now you'll see us in 2 weeks for that episode. Or now you'll see us in 1 week for our mini-sode. Thank you.
Goodbye. Scenes from our next episode.
Hey, I hear you like magic. How about real magic?
I don't know what to do about my real magic powers, so I'm gonna enter a magic competition.
If someone can explain to me how my sleight of hand is actually real magic, maybe they can explain how my real magic is actually sleight of hand.
Wait a minute. Let me solve these escape room puzzles. He is also real magic and evil?
Oh my god. I really don't remember much about this film.
I think I remember in the beginning there's like
filming of cameras and stuff.
There's like birds And
This
it's
is a bad
confusing.
TV show.
Didn't birds come out?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Why does this guy keep failing his magic tricks when he's using real magic?
I don't know.
It's a weird
Pretty
movie.
wild. Oh, made you look.
Oh, now you see it. Wait, is that how they end the movie? Why is that the most wild ending? Not necessarily plot, but it lasts like 3 seconds of the film.
Oh
That's
no.
weird.